hold is gone though, so we're possibly expecting that even the Cali will be out for AP Bren, because their lineup so far would look really great with it. So now TNC, could they lock in the Eve right here, even though there's the presence of a Valentina? Because you probably want a bit more space to work around.
Especially with the Fredrin, yeah. And it gives space to the carry.
Yeah. For me, either the Eve or the Juice and, Zetian are both excellent picks for their top and going up against what AP Bren has. Shizu will have to commit a dash to get out of a Fury of the Phoenix just in case, similar to the real world manipulation. So you can't go wrong with either of those two. So they will select the Eve instead.
That makes sense. Eve, a Fredrin carry, we've seen this many times before, so solid first phase. I'd say on both sides, because even then, like, if I recall last season, Shizu was one of the better percentage winners on the Hereth. This is one of his, like, signature picks that Shizu likes to play. And then, even for James Banks, I know we got to see him on this yesterday, but it's like, it's one of those heroes that he just performs really well with. And we've seen Suyo so far kind of reintroduced back into the meta in a way after he dealt with his nerfs that he had to go through, but he's still so good with mobility, damage, and just works really well with this. So when we look at the rest of the fans coming through, we're going to see some focus on the roaming options, especially because those are paramount on both these lineups. Taking a look at this, a little shared information here. We've got Kill VJ going and Mo, Rock Moko,
Okay,
Yes.
Okay, do your best, don't catch me.
Don't catch me. And then, what does Chaku say?
Congrats, nakabalik ka na sa Pinas. Good luck sa ating parehas, galingan natin.
So, we're back.
He said, yeah, we are back in the Philippines, and good luck to the both of us. That makes sense. AP Bren takes out the Phobis. I expect they're either going to take out the High Loss or the Blue. High Loss with the Eve Fredrin and Carry could actually mean GG for AP Bren if the High Loss goes through, or if they're ready to go up against it. So then they still have to worry about the 3-more pickup. Now that we ban out the Phobias and Arlott, the Red 4 pick makes a lot of sense for TNC. Then AP Bren are going to be forced to bring in the blue themselves. They'll need something with a really solid front. They already have enough damage. The CC would be too greedy, or something that could access the back line easier, like a Zhong or Sora gets banned out. So far, I'm liking how the draft is looking for TNC as a whole because of how many picks AP Bren needs to watch out for.
That's a Fredrin Arlott combo if ever, alongside like the real world too. Last ban for AP Bren. Should they take that out, or they're gonna leave that open?
The Arlott? Yeah.
So they're the Arlott, High Loss, Glue. They have to pick their poison, but then at the same time, those are 3 names. If ever, they're just gonna have to play for the trade.
I almost think, in this case, either Arlott or High Loss. It's gonna be the Arlott, yeah. So let's take out the Arlott. Probably the best choice there. Granted, the Fredrin and the Eve. So now, do they pick up their XP laner right now for TNC? They just sit on it.
Yeah.
The ones that could still go for.
You say do Yuzhong, like Yuzhong maybe?
Yuzhong was mentioned. Lapper is also still there.
Yeah, Lapper would be good. I'm leaning towards definitely a Blue because they have a Valentina.
Yeah.
Usually Valentina damage profiles is not fun if you have a Blue on the other side. It's too much pressure against your jungle. Okay, let's go for something more aggressive. They put the Lapper up on 3 minus. See if AP Bren will. I don't think they should force something like an Esmeralda even in the lane matchup because you need something tankier. Maybe they themselves can pick up the Blue, or as we mentioned earlier, the Yu Zhang this time can go on them instead. Or Alice?
I'd like to see the Yu Zhang.
That's more magic too, though.
Yeah. I would like to see the Yu Zhang, because if it was Alice, it'd be like, we're in magic.
Yeah, magic. So like Yu Zhang got that maybe?
Yeah, Yu Zhang got that. Or could they potentially even take the high loss here?
Yeah, it makes sense. It gives them an out if ever the real world manipulation drops by, which allows them to reposition. Marcel is also still open because he's and you could want to. There it is.
Wow.
Okay, and then they went with the Khalid. I almost expected the Khalid to be on AP Bren, but they go with Marcel. We'll see if Marcel can get a win, man. Again, he's 0-3 right now.
And AP Bren are also still on a perfect record, although it's just been one series, so.
Good luck, super fans. Want to win 1,000 mlbb diamonds? Predict the match winner correctly. Just scan that QR to know more. And predictions in. Do you guys have any predictions on this one based on the drafts we have here?
Okay. I will be hopeful for Marcel, and because I want AP Bren to keep their record.
Yeah.
You're hopeful for Marcel?
Because he hasn't won.
That's okay, Brick.
Yeah,
No, I'm joking.
everyone to win. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
very nice of you.
That's
But the world doesn't work that way. For me, I'm leaning towards TNC. They got to tick the conditions. Fast and aggressive mid duels will be the key against AP Bren. That was the key to victory earlier. They're the ones that got to take that key to victory, and I always lean towards that priority as being the better one.
Well, I'm going to have to go with TNC too, just because I got to keep Marcel in the ground there. No, I'm just kidding. I do believe that TNC has that better draft, so we're going to be waiting a little bit. I guess we're going to wait before we jump into this game. But TNC's draft, as we were saying and as we were discussing here, you know, they've got the tools that they need. I think it's very, almost in a way, it's pretty standard from what we've seen from TNC in the past. And so they should be able to go ahead and execute it. I just think, again, in this case, because that Alice was picked up in the XP lane over across from AP Bren, as soon as you start getting some of that magic defensive built up, that's where I'm worried that they might kind of fall apart. Now, maybe they can play around Marcel's kit with this to kind of get an upper hand when it comes to the skirmishes and the team fights later on, utilizing that golden hour. But I don't know, we haven't quite seen it work yet, and that's where I'm a bit skeptical about it.
The thing for me with the AP Bren lineup is you could see the potential of them just being able to dive the Eve in every team fight. So far, majority of the lineups that have Eve involved, it's always a team acknowledging that, hey, we should stop playing this slow and just, if we can, dive the Eve right away. Now, if Alice dives the Eve right away, there's not a lot of heroes to actually help cover that entry. There's not enough backup for the Alice to join with. If ever the Alice does dive, they'll be zoned out by the wheel of manipulation, and AP Bren might not be able to help out their diver. So TNC is the easier lineup to pull off in the big team side.
Yeah, I wonder if AP Bren can already sense that this is what we're going to unfortunately go through in the early stages of the game, because this is it's nice to see. It's nice to see. Yeah, that one member of the Phoenix Army is back. I think
Supporter of 3 Mar right there.
there's another one, right?
Yeah,
there used to be 2.
Yes.
But okay, maybe somewhere out there.
Somewhere out there.
So yeah, going back, it's a Khalid, it's an Eve in the mid, and I just have to say, I think what I like about TNC this time around, even though I do want wins for Marcel, is that at least they get a bit more help from Dido this time. So maybe they'll be, or this lineup will be much easier to activate compared to their previous drafts.
Yeah, we'll see if that all plays out. So you can have this. We'll take a look at the early action usually in the mid lane to get the pokes down, but that's not going to happen this time. Take a look at the emblems. Anything standing out here, Mark?
Typical Inspire. Pull yourself together for Lance again. I think he realizes he's going to need that flicker a lot because of all the dives that they have. It's going to be a rush, honestly, for the main frontliners of both sides, the entries, to get their defense items as quickly as possible, because it's the battle of the front lines here. Whoever holds on the longest wins.
I like the fact that it is Chakno with the Khalid here, just because it allows him to play that play style that so many people are used to seeing him play. You just hope he can get in a precarious position. He's going to be able to go ahead and heal up, obviously, with a quick Sam guard, but that's kind of what you look for with Chakno. He's got to be able to go ahead and poke down, set things up for the team, and it's good because of the composition, the way that it works allows him that space to do that. Now, later on, I think, like you mentioned, Brigitte, you probably echoed a lot of sentiments yesterday. They want to see Benny Curie come online today. They need that to happen. Zyder is more a bit of like the stable jungler right now in the hands of the Fredrin. He should be able to go ahead and just secure the objectives, the turtles later on, and allow the team to play around him. So that seems to be the play, and I'm wondering how they deal with Nova here with this Marcel. How will they work that out? I think one of the best counters we've seen in the Marcel so far, at least the kit-wise, would be the Zetian. It works really well with the Fury, the Phoenix. Phoenix here, but without that TNC, they're going to set up around this first turtle.
Yeah, we can't allow Nova to be the guy to set things up first or look for that perfect opening for the Golden Hour. But speaking of an opening, DJ comes in with no movement. Climax finally secured the objective for himself and Saida with the offensive grab takes down one. Now it's Chaku with the flipper to get away, and that's going to be a 1-for-1.
Saida didn't even get to use a retribution. James Banks used his. Saida used it way after the turtle was secured. So it was a link up between KLVJ and James Banks. KLVJ stood in front of the bush where JP was. Sometimes James Banks is just wrong to say so.
Yeah,
please don't get confused. I know we have a player named JP. I'll try my best to not do that as much.
What about Hanks?
That's fine. Or James. Yeah, his name's James. So, and James, it was so easy for him to just show up again because KLVJ was ready on the Alice to dive on Zyder right away.
And that's just all about the space that's provided with the lineup, and that's what Suyu does best. Like if you don't have to duke it out and go for a fight, you have a pretty good chance of being able to go ahead and secure an objective. And I think that's why, again, like the Fredrin could work in that situation where you're just kind of posted up and you're playing around your real world manipulation, but you got to be able to lock down those holds. Buddy,
she was not going to try to risk that anymore. So Chaku was right there though, but at least Chaku again was quick to respond.
Yeah, I think for TNC they might be overthinking the presence of their eve just a little bit. I know it kind of goes against what I say with you got to make sure that the position is fine, but it's inevitable that AP Bren's going to dive. I think them playing defensive and going for the counter punch style doesn't work out. They have to be the one to jump in first. If I'm 3-Mar and I immediately see members of AP Bren I can jump on with a bravest fighter, I'll do it. She's a
bit too deep. Still has that and the diamond force, but that's the punch from Samira. Still gets away. Luckily, he has the purify.
He had to get the signal. He knew that he was going to be able to survive, especially with a purify in hand.
Yeah, but the good thing is that pushes the gold leader away when the turtle is about to spawn, so that allows him space. This minion wave is going to push in. Someone needs to be holding one of those shrubs a little bit more forward, but no, they decide again to play a little bit more back. The good thing is I have to play from this angle with the broken wall instead.
Yeah, but it's Chaku getting bursted down now. Has a quick scan towards still. Zaida. Oh my goodness, the golden arm, but he gets to dodge it. And now he's still available for the record contest. He secures it for TNC instead. Chaku quite low. LVJ goes out already. They do not want to fight under the real world.
Very smart decision. And the way that Zaida played that too, he went and kind of posted up in front of Shizu, and then he just kind of went in with the retribution or secured it with the appraiser's wrath. So just a great play and a decision there to not over initiate after that fight.
Yeah. I also appreciate that James Mack just decided to watch the scenario instead. Instead of forcing a dive, trying to get kills and trades out, they know that if TNC are going to get the turtle and they lose, it's going to be a massive swing towards their favor. So they decided to play patient and wait to see what could happen. Instead, they saw and accepted that TNC won that sequence.
And right now, AP Bren, though, is winning on a lot of parts of the map. They're continuing to build up that lead. You can see already, too, Sky Piercer here for James Banks. He's looking to get these stacks built up. He rocked that Fury Hammer earlier on for that bit of damage. And now they look to go ahead and capitalize, too. A glowing wand walked in for Aqua to kind of help with some of the sustainability, especially from Chaku, 3-Mar himself, and the Fredrin for Zaida. So now this is where we start to see the kind of flip being switched here for AP Bren. They want to take this lead that they have built up a little bit over time and kind of take this game under control.
I think James Banks did this yesterday too, even when they were trying to recover and play from behind. It was still an early Sky Piercer that he picked up. Oh no, it's hot here though. It's the dodge. Emerging Sandstorm.
Okay, AP Bren, you can commit something. KVJ has Flicker, KVJ has Throne of Ruin.
Those are big ultimates down.
Yeah, they have to fight so that the resources are forced out of TNC. They're way too careful right now. Maybe because it's still spawning, I feel like they should have taken their moment.
Very passive there, but I guess it's the safe route for now for AP Bren. They want to go ahead and fight this third turtle.
Oh, maybe this is where they want to fight. They get to find some information for now. Zaida already has access to the turtle as well.
Okay, here we go. Nova taking his time around. They're going to fight for it, breaking out.
Oh, all they want is to kill on Lancey first, and now it's going to get split up. KLVJ taking care of it with the golden arm. Stop the fight for now. Momentarily, she's dancing with his Amon Force, but it seems like every everyone's just getting able to find and escape. Captain tries to lock down Aqua. James Duck finally finds Lancy as well. But now, AP Bren, they're standing tall. 3 more. It's a double kill for James Pants.
Shock and awe split them apart. Divide and conquer. Is that been to try, but he's still be James.
Okay, Benikidi still able to throw out some basic attacks, but they won't be able to deal with the king.
I like thanks. Yeah, I like that. I like the way that he played that too. They might have not got the turtle, but he actually went to the back line, got his moves, the million moves we talked about, found Lancy and a couple of kills off of that. So, again, he's building up the sacks that he needs, but the team is just playing around what TNC is trying to set up around the real world manipulation.
Yeah, and again, low-key, Aqua actually had the real-world manipulation stolen away from Lancy. So with Lancy pushed all the way back by KLPJ, it was AP Bren who had an RWM to play under, and it worked out very well for them. So now you see, even with the carry, even with the damage profile that a Lapu-Lapu has, without the Eve, TNC are lacking, and AP Bren have enough little bits of shield that they can recover, a little bit of dashes, even with the golden hour being used to delay the team fight just a little bit so that KLPJ can come back and rejoin in. It's going well for them.
Yeah, these timings and how passive AP Bren seem to be playing, sometimes he's a bit too deceptive.
Yeah,
they eventually find like a much better timing after all to, let's say, execute that team fight. And in that particular moment, it was right as the turtle spawned. But still, at least both teams are holding on to their turrets, and they seem to be taking care, or the mirroring seems to be working really well.
This is one of the things, you see with Radiant Armor now for 3 Mars. Some of the defensive map guidance we talked about that are crucial for TNC's lineup are coming into play, but this hard being up here, AP Bren, they played objectives relatively well, despite being down one of the turtles out of the 3, but so how they're fighting is what's giving them that advantage. So we have to see TNC kind of respond to this. And one of the tricky things that we usually do, yes, Marcel hasn't gotten a win yet, but it's just kind of how kind of a nuisance he is, like to deal with if you're the opposing team of that. Just like this, you're going to see him kind of getting those freeze frames off on these golden hour as well, kind of stops the flow of a team fight, especially when it's around an objective. And that's where it's like, all right, we have to catch this Marcel, get rid of him. Yeah, this is what he's going to do. Well, no, not going to be utilized.
Yeah, they got to slow things down now because that's how the golden hour got used.
Yeah.
DC has pounced on this opportunity.
They will.
Medikiri gets to join as well, so this might be a much better advantage for them, but they're also taking things slow.
Aqua spot is perfect right now. He has a RWM.
Wait, they're actually going to go for Nova? Oh, Nova! Now he gets caught. Even the real world gets used just to take him down.
I have no idea why Nova was there. He even used the flicker. Not having the ultimate, that was crucial, bad positioning.
Yep. Now it's AP Bren with 5 members. Still trying to go for this Lord fight though. Without Nova. They're getting zoned out pretty well. VJ already down to less than half HP. Still decides to go in with the throne of Ruin Apple. Oh, real manipulation! And it's James Fox who still gets the objective! Oh, more! Now coming in! By VJ and Shizu, it's a double kill! TNC will not allow that, or AP to get that one for free!
Goes in now, we're utilized 3 more, and Benny Cutie throws in, but Aqua and Nova will be able to hold on to the mid turret. So in the long run, it went out for AP Bren. They let Nova get the vision and just left him there because it allowed Shizo and Aqua to push the mid lane turret, which pulled the attention of Benny Cutie, delaying his entry. Meaning that AP Bren can position just a little bit better for that Lord, eventually leading to James Banks being able to win the retribution battle. So it's just shaky. It might have looked like bad positioning, but in the end, they made the most out of Nova's sacrifice. He gave vision, and they said, thank you for the turn, and eventually, thank you for the Lord.
I just think TNC should have been a little more aggressive on that, knowing they had an advantage. It's like we were talking about AP Bren being passive. Well, in that case, TNC were the ones kind of second-guessing themselves when they had the advantage, and I think part of it is, how do we catch James Banks on the Suyo? He's so hard to deal with, because even if they post up like we saw them do, they still lost
must have fun.
And imagine, for like twice in a row, Aqua has been the guy to use a better real world manipulation in terms of positioning, and it's not looking good for TNC, who I think are the ones who have to be a lot more systematic given their lineup. AP Bren, it's been free flowing. Sometimes we tend to question the timings, but everything seems to be working out well.
I'll always remember Aqua as Eve though. Like he's like one of the best Eve players. So now that he's a Valentina, he basically gets to spend part of his time as an Eve. Yes, that's why he's doing so well with it.
Yeah, he gets to play as an Eve, and then once the RWM is gone, he has mobility, he can dash, really great damage. So I really understand why the Valentina was prioritized here, because at the end of the day, we still ended up with an Eve. And an Eve that can dash once the RWM is down with all of the dive that TNC has. So far, it seems like one of the biggest themes of this game is a lot of, I wouldn't say passiveness, maybe a hesitation. Yeah, because when you hesitate, you can still think about whether or not you're going to be aggressive, and I feel like that's the effect of having to go up against a Marcel, or going up against an Alice, and even the Valentina, while for TNC Pro Team, AP Bren are looking at Lancey's Eve, and that's also making them hesitate.
Also got to take note of the entries from KLVJ. It's like every single time they're able to deny Lancey of a perfect position, and in turn that's also probably why Aqua seemingly has the better time in most of the team fights.
And remember, heading into the season, there was a discussion of whether or not KLVJ would be going into the mid lane or going into the EXP lane. Yeah. I like that. For the longest time, we've imagined mid laners as supports for the entire team. Yet KLVJ for now 3 games has done that as an EXP laner. He did that in the previous series in the sweep win against Omega, and now he's playing a very great support role as this Alice for AP Bren in this game.
And the experience as a mid laner is showing because of just how great he is in terms of controller, enabling his team. But TNC,
this one.
Yep.
So who's going to check things out again? Support of the health of the Lord here, Zyda. He's going to have to fight for retribution on this one.
Oh, the junglers are here. Throne of Ruin already committed, but it's Zyda who gets the Lord. Lancey finds the kill on Nova 2. Shackle trying to get away, and now King Shack trying to still find kills, but he and C are all okay. She might go for the engage. King Shack gets caught, and he gets some. It's a double for James Banks.
Oh, he's on the run. Does he have to? James Banks, the man with a million moves, turns it around.
A triple for him. Zyda, a bracer trap on Shizu, and they dash to get away. A flicker available for Aqua, but they will not go for the chase.
Holy expletive! So, oh my God, James Banks! I thought Zyda winning that Reggie battle was incredibly. I'm losing words. What's going on? I'm losing words. James Banks! Oh my God! Top 0-1.
He's got stats now, man. He's got stats now.
That's it, nephew. That's what we've been waiting for, nephew.
Oh man, I did not expect it to go that way after that ward was secured either, man.
The Sky Piercer.
It's the Sky Piercer stacks on the CEO.
Oh my God.
There's a reason why. Again, when we were introduced to James Banks, he already had the moniker, the man in the million moves. Well, now you're seeing it with his Suryo right now.
Yeah, it took what felt like a million years to see it, but now finally we're seeing the million moves.
Yeah, AP Bren, we gotta take a look at the replay. So, again, James Banks, even though it seemed like he was already getting to or trying to get away, he still wanted some kills.
Yeah.
Get back in, because, I don't know, he calculated everything in his mind. He knew he had what it takes.
I'm just surprised too, because after that Lord was secured, TNC was the one that continued to push and want to fight that. They were stacked up like 3 members of TNC in that Lord pit, that broken Lord pit, and then they end up getting caught in a bad position.
It's crazy because I didn't even see the bad position yet. The majority of it was like, oh, TNC won the 50-50. They now have a third of that, and this works very well for them. Ben QT is free. If they're going to go ahead and fight, with Nathan Bren, finally found the switch up in that James Brown said, hey, I got my cooldowns ready to go. Look, Lancey got left behind. The formation was a little bit skewed. Ends up getting the double kill. It was a crazy turnaround by AP Bren, considering that TNC pro team played that incredibly well.
Because I get it too. TNC winning that Lord fight meant that they could be a bit more encouraged to go for that first Lord fight and still look for whatever they can up against AP Bren, who already seem to be like committed to try and go for a contest. So that's a flickering stance from Anthony with manipulation catching Aqua and flicker as well from Primar, but Aqua gets to safety. Now from behind, Nova's multiple members captures Chaku into the Golden R and then winters round for Primar. But still, Green goes down.
All right. They fight back with the Primar that falls. The TNC looks to still want to go ahead and secure space around this Lord here.
Yeah.
But AB Bren's got the position in their favor after the reset.
Yeah, it wasn't a center time. He just got caught in the golden hour.
Yeah, it was the golden hour. Man, no, that was a great turnaround by Nova. He really did not just come in after Leslie. He said, I'm going to just jump on all of you, grab you in, and make you think about continuing this dive. That was a risky play there. And honestly, again, hopefully by Aqua was able to get out of it, maximize his flicker and dashes.
Oh, Lancey did not see this coming! Oh, it's on a Bruin as well, catching multiple members of DXC. It's chased back with a monster kill, now taking down Chaku as well. 3 members are down for the Phoenix Army.
The king using the throne. Literally, the throne of ruin on that one. What a great positioning to go forward. And now they'll take down the mid base turret.
Could this actually be the first win for a Marcel? AP Bren are a few steps away from potentially getting that.
Here's a step. Step 1, get the Lord. Step 2, break the outer turret. Step 3, somehow get a wipeout on the way to trying to go for the face turret. I don't know if they're going to get that, but they should be able to with the lead that they have now. 3 Lords. AP Bren are making this work because TNC did not get to play the game that we expected them to play. And AP Bren's team fighting through James Banks, through KLVJ and Aqua, the big 3 that I posted for AP Bren in the panel, who are making it work yet again.
The stacks this man has. He picked up that Sky Burst when he had 1 kill already. So he's got plenty of stacks.
60 plus, 67 plus now.
To approach into the space here. They're going to walk in with this Lord. Do they look to end it here?
Oh, Shizu already got some actually huge. Just with a couple of free hits from Shizu. Already used the Flick Sandguard. Weymar already using the Brave Spider as well, but they're going to work on all the remaining face turrets first. Now the Lord is down. Does AP Bren still want to go for something? They're going to play it safe, but there's another wave.
Another wave pushing in. They might still go.
Oh, yeah! He actually does go in. Stuns Lancey once again. The Golden R also captures him and Betty Judy. Now they have time to work on Chaku and Saida. The front fighters losing the first targets, and now Chaku having his mentality. TNC are actually able to defend. And 3 marbles. That's less than go without a kill.
Dreamar says you can't get away with that. Jumps in with Brave Spider Flicker and will take down Aqua. And now it looks like TNC wants to do something off of that.
Yeah, they are going to be able to find a lot of openings here. Finally break the tower in mid maybe, but they have a great wave clear set with the heroes there, and they do get to clear it. So despite that fantastic play by Fremar, AC Bren were already backing away at the right time, but Fremar decided to use the flicker along with the Brave Spider and then the Landshaker as well. Cap off that kill onto Aqua. TNC still get nothing, and they'll have to crawl for map control, considering that they only have 1 big turret in the bottom lane, where in the perspective it's just a top lane, but it's not going to do with 2 bits. And then that minion wave as well, coming in through top. Before that next node comes in, we need hella minion waves pushing out. But with the map control, it's going to be too tough to think at. And look at the itemization of KLVJ, by the way. He just picks up the Winter Crown, already has the Chastise Ball. He's been this tanky with Chastise, Oracle, Radiant, and dominant eyes. That's nuts.
Yeah. It's one of those things where when you look at this, I want to reiterate the fact that, we need to see Benny Cutie utilize the carry now. I feel like the hard part about it when you're watching Benny Cutie's position in some of the team fights is he doesn't necessarily have the space you think he can with his composition.
Kale's always there right in front of him, slowing him down, slowing his attack speed down.
At least he hasn't died yet, but still, he doesn't.
It's because he can't really get into the fight. He's just like, Benny Cutie wants to join these fights, but he's got to be so careful on the position because of the way this works. Even with the Malefic gun, which he picked up minutes ago, a long time ago, he just hasn't been able to find those windows to actually pop off it.
Yeah, he can't be killed because he can't get killed.
Okay. It seems like all Kel DJ wants to do is Lancy, and once they get to take him down, that's about it. Oh, Golden are already completed. The Tiger might take the top for the doesn't! It was enough! 3 seconds was enough! Neymar jumps in, forcing out the Purify, but that's a raging Tiger! Exactly, but they get put under the turret instead! The Throne of Ruin, Azur's come from Kel DJ, and now they're going in for the Chinese! That is now legendary! But the immortality gets popped by Benny Cutie! He makes a double! Gets a shutdown! But it's time for the rest of the members of AP Bren to go wild!
And that's the CNC left with one! Another snap!
Spamming his recalls! Nova stopping Primo in his tracks! Still has the Raven's Spider! But that will not be enough to defend! AP Bren take game number 1!
And just with an effort there from TNC to force a fight, it was way too late to deal with AP Bren.
This AP Bren squad for so many seasons. I know it's still so early, but they are looking good. The push and pull, the engage and re-engage. The golden hour was perfect. The moment that Lloyd went down, he was still like half a second before inside the got unfrozen, and they were able to secure it cleanly. But TNC also called for a good fight. It was a huge risk, but it was a risk that they took at the right time. Unfortunately, they were outplayed by great skill and ultimate conservation by Shizo. I was surprised when I saw that Zaman first get dropped out. I was like, oh, he still had that? Oh, that's it. AP Bren's winning this.
I legit don't trust my maths because Nova had that all calculated. That okay, when I use the golden R at this moment, Saida will not make it in time.
It was, that last team fight, which, like you said, it was a huge risk. I was hoping Benny Cutie would get there faster because I feel like by the time everything was thrown and even Chaku jumped in with that raging sandstorm to set things up, this is where they got crashing on. And then they get caught into this area they don't want to be in. And at the same time, they just get overloaded.
Yeah. Overload actually is that's a great theme to encapsulate AP Bren's lineup. TNC theoretically could have had that, but again, Ben Cutie did not have the space. I have to correct myself, by the way. Ben Cutie, Shizo did use the Zappa Force. It just did come back in time. And Nova.
Making pretty great plays, but Valentina kind of gives him that option of letting to see what happens. What's the swing after the fix on the red side? There's Valentina, so he'll go with it, rock that, and that'll be just fine.
Definitely not the air fryer. We can get us a third.
Yeah.
So, if we want to change things a bit, I would make someone head in.
Okay. Okay, they're gonna lead hard on the softball. So this might be like Harris, Eve, Hyla, something like that. If they don't pick up the Marcel themselves, they're most likely gonna ban that out and then ban it alongside with either Akaleo or Sora, if not picked out here by AP Bren. However, because of what you're seeing right now from TNC, I think Sora would be an alright pick here for APB. Just pick it up early. You already have the Valentine on your side, unless you want to lean in on the idea that you do have the flex and the potential counter for the Sora, so you don't pick it up anymore. Allow TNC to think that it's going to be safe for them to pick it up and just pick up your Roamer. I think Roamer should come in later, unless they just want to lean in on the Clay to force out Purifies.
Yeah, there's the one. The CEO. So, keep it with the CEO for James Banks. Why not? I feel like this is one of his most played heroes, even last season.
Yeah.
And it just leaves TNC needing to solve the James Banks CEO problem. And that could be here, based on what they picked for this third pick in the first phase. It could be. I almost don't want to see the Frederick again in this case.
Yeah.
Not saying that it can't work, because the Eve and the hair have already kind of helped provide the Frederick pick, but maybe go with something different. And so they'll wait and they'll pick up Phobius instead.
Okay. So this could be a much better body for TNC. Now they take out the Marcel too. So with the amount of roamers that are still available, honestly, I don't think the card was a bad choice either. It was really good. But without the Marcel, I guess it could be, or they could like broaden their options. Even the Kalea is still there. But I mean, if they want to pair it up with something, not really because they really isn't that really first range, but it's there if they just want to revert back to some of the more familiar play styles.
It would be funny if they were just end up going Alice again. They respect the French. Okay. They do have the Eve.
19.
Yes, he said, hell no, we're not giving you the Alice.
But the Arlot still. You can still go the Arlot.
And the Sora.
Yeah, and in recent trends, it's again, Arma doesn't care as much about Phobius anymore compared to before. Actually, in recent memory, it's Arma that wins more against the Phobius. I think Bren wants I also got thought, honestly, I think it would be okay if for their roam option. And then for TNC, if they still want to go fast, we do have the Phobius. I'm okay with something like the Khalid again, if that's what we're leaning towards.
Let's see what this last band's going to be, and then we can. So the answer is here. Right away locked in. You mentioned that break, so Leia locked in for track news. Still
Nice.
good, because it could also force a couple of purifiers, or at least one, obviously, over here for AP Bren now. And these last two picks.
So the Arlot.
Roman XP, yeah, Arlot.
I'm okay with the Blue High Loss. Yeah, you're gonna need one of the revitalized roamers here. So either the High Loss or the Gatot, considering that it's the Kalea. So either Gatot, High Loss in the roam maybe, and then for the EXP lane, another tanky body in the blue, or I don't think you're ready to ask me. Make blocks open. Yeah, if they are willing to go to Esme, okay.
Are taking the shields down over the Esmeralda, but the Grok is what they pick up instead. So I'm a little worried that, the having to deal with the heal from Mikalea, having that might be troublesome. Early skirmishes, at least for that. But there's the nice Nolan pick.
Great.
So this is one of Zyda's best picks too.
Yeah, and we started seeing it a little bit more in MPL Player Season 16. You know, here there in M7 as well. You get a strong sense of burst, similar to the Suyo in the sense that you could just blow all your abilities in that one go, and then get on out of there, wait for it to come back, and then you can go for the re-engage. They just decided to match that up. I'm a little bit more torn this time around between the drafts of these two. I don't want to rush right away and say just because they have the Grok that AP Bren's going to take control of this, because there's a chance that because of the healing that they have with the control through the Kalea, they have the healing as well to help slow things down. Objective focus, but maybe whoever whichever team decides to go for the aggressive ganks first, will potentially win.
There's 3 purifiers over there, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of purifiers.
Which I hope we get to see a bit more from TNC because Zaida on this hero is expected to do a lot more things by himself, not necessarily needing the help of his other teammates. So there's potential pulls that could come in with the Nolan. Hopefully could help him in the long run if we want to go and even out the series. But AP Bren with the Grok, I'm excited to see it because it's always been like,
Oh man, the last part should mess him up. Of course, he's going to be able to heal back up, pops a regen too, and we'll get some health over here. So yeah, that's one of the things that I wanted to point out as well is just working through that difficulty of getting purifies down so that Chaku can use his Tsunami Slam, and even looking at the emblems here. Oh, that's a standard across the board. This fight for the little longer though. Goes over to James Banks, and I think even in this case, for Zaida to be on the Nolan, a little bit better to deal with James Banks specifically. Oh no.
Missions already?
Yeah, that's going to be rough. We're going to get that done later. And he's going to be taking a lot here from Shizo, but in Assassin's trait, so Shizo being aggressive as well. So Zaida decided to go for the rotation. It was mirrored, so they started on the same side as the map. It plays a Nolan with the strong burst and the dashes. He was able to get the Beetle. Went up, lost the Little Wanderer battle, unfortunately. It was both jungler should be level 4. Exactly at the same time, wow. They're going to be going for the turtle. It's VJ pushing back the mark just a little bit, which caused Chaku to come in just a little bit more. Could be a pretty scrappy start with the objective fight, as we said, might be objective focus for this one.
Oh, it's Lancy who he's trying to go for that first blood for AP Bren, and now TNC trying to make this really just that they will not find him.
You said it, Renmar. They knew that Flicker was down. They were most likely going to make a play, and they do just that. Giving themselves the first blood. Space. Oh,
both dark waves used at the same time, but the Terrify will stop Lumar for the chase.
Wow.
VJ handling 2 members all by himself, allowing James Banks to get the objective, and with the Terrify still survives and gets back to safety. 2 members fighting up against the remaining ones of AP Bren, finally able to take down 2. Tsunami Slap it on to Nova, but can Chaku take him down? It's a no.
DNC needed to get something out of that. That would have been really demoralizing if they just lost kills and then eventually they backed off. That was a great save by Nova, great rampart, but then DNC still got it there in the end. So he just balances out the wins that AP Bren got. DNC is going to be looking to figure out the next turtle yet again. But so far, it's been 1 count of AP Bren going for the aggressive gank first, and then let's see if TNC are going to look for that before this next turtle spawns. You see Zaida and Lancy now invading the purple box, but Nova reads it and blocks off the steal.
Yeah, this is a lot more early aggression because of the lineup from TNC in comparison to Game 1. And that's kind of what they have to do. They have to be the ones to go ahead and set the pace into this. Let's take a quick look at Kilo VJ, the Kings here. These are his all-time hero stats. For that, Esmeralda played 19 games, 113, 68% win rate, and that's why you see the confidence when he's going and setting things up, going 1v2, 1v3 in a lot of these cases. So this is a hero he knows very well that he's going to be able to utilize against this specific lineup too from TNC.
And the last one, let's see if the authentic VJ has in this objective fights are going to be mirrored in the next one and every subsequent objective fight, in the sense that is he just going to jump on Zaida and annoy him? Because that was very evident in turtle number 1. And if that continues to happen in the next objectives, then TNC need to make sure they have something to deal with KLVJ, because if we allow KLVJ to just continuously jump on Zaida's not going to have a good time rescuing.
Yeah, because I was expecting Zaida to be the guy to look for those sudden bursts on specific members before objectives rather than him being the guy constantly jumped on. And now with AP Bren and the way that they position themselves, that's not exactly what we're seeing from TNC just yet. It's more AP Bren controlling even the river as we look at it right now.
Alright, well, that's secured. That has got other plans. His might just go and grab that little wonder. There's a Sky Booster on point for James Banks, just like we saw him do it. There's actually going to meet each other on that side of the jungle. But you can see Zyna, he's slightly behind. Might force a fight in the mid here.
Oh, they're trying to first down to LBJ. Has the purify and is safe from the real world manipulation too. Now that's a huge ultimate god for TNC.
Oh, wow.
Just to take down Zyna. Racing to it coming in from Shizu as well. And AP Bren took down the jungle from TNC.
And Judy doesn't have his armor force, but with other retribution, this is at TNC.
Alright. An objective over to AP Bren. Oh, TNC still wants to fight. That's a Tsunami Slam. Still have to purify though. Aqua is safe. James Max, would you try and go for another play? It's not going to be the call for now.
Yeah, almost looks like what we were seeing in game one, man, where it's like TNC is throwing so much at AP Bren, but they just can't capitalize on some of those movements and some of those setups. They're not able to turn them into kills here.
Yeah, Kelsey not falling there was a huge disappointment for TNC Pro Team. His itemization, he just has a Dreadnought armor, man, and then he's playing around with items. It seems like he's going to be going towards an enchanted talisman. That's a crazy trap movement for Kelsey. I guess right now a Dreadnought's armor is enough for this Esmeralda to survive all the physical burst, and right now he knows that the magic damage isn't quite there yet for TNC, so that Kelvin here doesn't need to rush into trying to build a Radiant Armor Oracle or anything like that.
Even that play we got to see from Nova.
Yeah, Nova was it. That looked easy. Rampart, Flicker, gets the swing, and then in your face with the tech charge. This could be a back entity performance for Nova if ever.
Yeah, right now he's playing the Grok just really great, especially when we were talking about how Kalea providing a lot of that sustainability with this lineup, but so far, even having those three purifies are really helping AP Bren to avoiding these setups. Zyda going to spawn out a couple here, trying to keep this tier 2 in the bottom up. I'm not sure if Chaco is going to be able to respond to this. They might just lose a turret. Zyda has to watch this, but they do hold on with a fourth of the health on that turret. Turret's coming up here in just a second. We'll see if it's going to be 3 for 3 for AP Bren. And Enchanted Talisman now built in. That's the first full item locked in for Kill VJ. As he went with a pretty chop suey build, but they'll grab this purple and make their way for the turtle. TNC's got to be careful of the Rampart tech charge setup that Nova's been doing so well.
Yeah, and even Chaco, like, who does he actually try to find in this scenario where he still has his flicker, the Tsunami Slam is also available, but the plans seem to be different. Zyda here spots Shizu up top. Shizu doesn't go in for the Vision PMI. Now it's bursted down, -1 for AP Bren. TNC in control of the objective, zoning them out. This is gonna go over to TNC.
Slightest bit of hesitation from Shizu, deciding whether or not he's gonna really try to escape. But that was a great read by Zyda and Benny Cutie. Good thing Benny Cutie was here by there. Zyda called for it probably.
Manipulations, but AP Bren still get to clear the way.
Yeah, great recovery here by TNC Pro Team, and this is what you want from this lineup that has a hero such as the Nolan that can immediately delete one of the squishier heroes on the side of AP Bren. Build that advantage early on, and as long as he also has some help with that, some reinforcements with that, which again Ben QT wasn't there. So more like that from TNC, and we could potentially see a game number 3 get to extend this even more.
Yeah, better position for Benny Q to be in comparison to game 1, where it took him quite some time to build up here. You can see, he's got the Stargate Psyche and the Feather of Heaven working on his third item now too. The difference in gold though between the two gold winners isn't too much. That last item still being worked on for the Trinity for Shizu, and that might be just one of those cases where he kind of didn't expect to get bursted down that fast. Again, he held on to the Purify too and just wasn't able to get away from it. So a little more calculation on his positioning too, that burst that comes out from TNC, but it's them looking for a potential play. Part of this now at this stage of the game is for Chakmo to not always find the right target, but even just to get a Purify down if he can. And that is a small win to getting a full-on team fight victory for TNC. And Zyda can do the same thing. His burst potential with Nolan can also be one of those things or one of those plans to get down some of these defensive battle spells that are here for AP Bren. But they're fighting for the space right now. They got to open up the map a bit, take down some of the tier 1 turrets still down on this bottom side before they start to worry about the Lord up top in 10 seconds.
Yeah, but the rotation of KLCG was stopped in the mid as well by Zyda. First, he came down to almost 50 health, forcing the region out of KL. TNC just really want to build towards the spot lane push, but AP Bren are playing really good far side defense so that TNC Pro team will not have the lane advantage on the opposite side of the map where the Lord is.
Yeah, at least though, we get to see how TNC are in almost full control of majority of the lower side. It's as if that, yes, the control is really great for AP Bren in terms of far lane, but Nova is more on seemingly a bodyguard right now for Shizu, considering what happened in that previous objective fight. So AP Bren feels a bit more cautious right now about the way they move up. Ooh, performance was already used by Benny Cutie here in mid.
I wonder if they're going to be able to do anything off of that. Knowing the Zom Force is down, it's around a quick ultimate though.
Yeah, they'll have it back. I think they're just going to bring the long game with this. They do have a bit of the wave up top. Pretty much not a factor in the bottom lane right now. And I don't think TSC has the capability or even AP Bren to send someone there. James Banks will just get his green cap there. It's going to be full on 5v5.
Jumping in, just checking things out. If he can get something, but nonetheless, stalemate. Also, the tier 1 turrets being up, those are pretty big in the mid lane for both teams, and why you see them kind of just pushing and pulling to fight for space around the Lord right now. Neither team really can commit, so what they want to do is let the junglers get what they need, farm up, get the buffs that they need, and potentially go for a kind of off-angle burst if they can. Lord's sitting at half health. It's going to go for a reset, a bit of a soft reset, unless this is going to be a forced fight. Keep an eye on Nova, though. It's probably going to be him that starts things up if he gets the call here. Whereas Chacho is going to potentially just do a tsunami slam to get a purify down. And it's just a back and forth with the Lord right now.
Oh! It's a dissect charge and real world coming in from AP Bren. James Max, that's all it took for him to get the Lord. But now LDJ will be the trade. So will Nova. They're both going down. But AP Bren, all they needed was time. James Max gets spotted out though. Will they go for the chase? He's trying to work and run around the map. Shizuchu taking this turret in mid, has to be a might to escape, but before he does, he will actually pick up a kill on 3-bar.
Wow, are they still going to be able to go for more? James Prince is still there.
Oh, doesn't last, and he's ready to the 7+2, and the answer's back right at Shizu.
It was a trap, it was a bait, they thought they could get a kill, but Benny Cutie was ready to blast Shizu down, who wanted to go alongside James Banks to see if they could get more kills. Great back and forth, fantastic recovery by TNC, despite the what could have been the MVP declaring play by Nova with a massive flicker tech charge, but it was countered, they held on, AP Bren lost a lot of bodies. It's the burst damage profile that TNC has, and even the shades of healing that the Kaleo can bring for the team.
That was such a good back and forth. We got to look at it again. So you see the Lord, it is secured. Great tech charge flicker. That's what I was saying with Nova. He's going to be the one to start it up. But look, they lose this entire team fight though. Kill VJ gets really low. He gets cleaned up. He's followed. James Panks gets in position because he thinks, okay, I can at least kind of stall them out or maybe capitalize on some kills. Yeah. But what it ended up being is just a Lord that is taken care of really quickly. Not much happens, but they do end up getting some turrets down. Looking to get some pressure here on both sides now.
It's great that TNC were very mindful too. They had no idea where James Banks was after that fight, so they could not afford to get really low because that cleanup already happened in game number 1.
Yeah, AP Bren has really improved their team fighting this season. It seems like last season, and even before that, it was a lot of all or nothing fights for them, which usually led to nothing. Now it's, well, we don't need everything. We don't need all of it. We get something. It's okay. We can reset. We got this. It's like they're more well aware of the conditions that they need to take, the things that they can get, the overall trading aspect of longer team fights, which I think is what maybe surprising for TNC that now going up against a team like AP Bren, TNC has always been like, well, last season, depending on this, very momentum based. We win this, do that, but then they can also show up with some surprise comebacks, which we saw, of course, after that draft play. So they're evenly matched. This has been a very entertaining series so far.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of just wisdom that you see AP Bren showcasing here. If you really watched AP Bren last season, you guys will understand what we're talking about here. And even for TNC, a team that finished top 3 from last playoffs, and so this is a very competitive match between these two teams right now. This Lord coming up, they're going to make a hard swing up here. Again, Nova has that flicker available. We'll be the one to start things up, as TNC has been the ones to respond. But you're seeing how careful they are with this approach.
Yeah. Hey, Nova has to be consistent with checking these pushes as well. They cannot afford to have TNC go in again with another surprise. Aqua's yet to steal away an alternate tool. At least we can see.
He wants the real manipulation, I would assume here. He's not able to get it. Lance's doing a great job of staying away.
Yeah, he might need to put himself in a really dangerous spot to just try and steal that. I wonder if he wants to take a lot of damage from Alpha. He doesn't have any magic defense just yet.
Oh, okay. I'm so nervous for Aqua here because you want to dash in and get that, but there's Chakra.
There's Chakra, so
a great man once said, do it. Just do it. Do it.
Oh, okay.
Chakra spotted out, so Nova will get that checked in. Divine Glaive now picked up for Lance.
It doesn't get it for him.
Yeah, it doesn't get it. Really, he even jumped towards Chakra here, but still not going to be able to get statement time. Still VJ holding up on that top side. And this is a tough one.
There's also not a lot of purifiers inside of TNC. You could even make an argument you should just get the career ultimate.
Yeah.
And the Tsunami Slam.
I wonder what they're thinking about.
Maybe he will switch it up here. They're going to get information. James Shanks is down in that bottom lane. He wants to clear that out. So they have this now. They might go ahead and start this up quickly, knowing that.
Oh, they're trying to burst the Lord of Flicker for 3 more, but it isn't as well coordinated. Now it's a potential punish for AP Bren. But instead, after 3 Marco, he's now shaking, dancing with the Savage Force. Unfortunately, he's still to pick or yet to pick up a kill. James Shanks goes in! But the damage from CNC is just so much! The Flicker said Charge still got as many units. She's still in with the free. Now it's Chappie that they're potentially going to chase after, but can he get out?
A little bit of defense is just to dance and knock him from the leg. AP Bren!
How does that happen? Saida 2 taken out. It's as if the Lord wasn't secured by TNC. It's AP Bren marching in towards their base.
And they haven't even made they only have the focus and the aim to defend.
He might be enough with the real one manipulation to clear off the minion wave at least, but they're going to lose the mid-base turret as Shizu worked on the Lord. So even with the objective going to TNC, AP Bren will come out on top of that fight.
It's so difficult to team fight against AP Bren because even after a big set that it looks like everyone's funneled into one area, they find a way to split it up, make it uncomfortable for their opponents, and just divide and conquer. It's been working out for them this entire week 1.
Because right before that kill on Zyda, James Shanks, I thought he was low. I thought he was not going to look for another kill, but I think he had Aqua, or was it Aqua or Nova alongside him, and he didn't get to see what happened exactly.
Yeah, because they had that split fight. They were chasing down Chakner too. So, and you guys are right. He actually took he's got the Tsunami Slam. So Aqua decided to go with that. He might change it though now after that whole thing happened. But nonetheless, AP Bren responds to what TNC does, and think how much distance James Shanks even had to cover there, because like I said, he showed himself on that bottom side. They tried to blitz the Lord, but great response from AP Bren on a defensive stance to actually delay that as much as they could to get a favorable fight for them. So we'll see if TNC has an answer. There's a potential chance that not much happens before the Lord does come up, because they just don't want to risk this. It's getting a little dicey for TNC now that they lost lost a base turret.
This is still a game of interest, though. It's why I believe that AP Bren has the sheer damage that can come out of the Nolan and the Harris means that TNC can swing this at any given moment. It's been the same for AP Bren, and hence why they have the lead. So it all boils down to who's going to be able to get that key pick-off and then eventual follow-up first. Because even though they're an advantage built, it's not really a clear advantage because there's so much damage on both sides that can immediately swing a team fight to go from 5v4 to a 4v4 again to a full-blown chaotic mess.
You see how crucial multiple minutes are too, man. I mean, again, a quad and a Harris, both of those last team fights, they got to shine their own way, but Benny Cutie died very quickly once they got overloaded again. And same thing can happen to Shizu if he's out of place.
Yeah, real quick, guys, he just built up the Winter Crown, so a little bit of a mistime by AP Bren getting all aggressive and then not having the follow-up for the kill after the Winter Crown has been used by Lance. He could leave a little bit of a different snicker.
And a miscalculation once again from TNC2. Similar to Fast, blazing to it, coming in alongside with the crowd. Everyone's down. Nova left all by himself, but still has the flicker and is alive. Benny Cutie doesn't use his Amon Force just yet, but it's 3 more down. AP Bren. He wants to take the door. It's Chakra they want to go for next. They don't get to spot Saida yet. And this is Sabra. Saida by Sabra. It sends Purify from LBJ as he tries to run away, but Nova could not. A double kill for Mama Gogo.
And what a great response from TNC. It looked so dicey there. But after losing 3 more, they recalculated. They were able to get a couple of kills, but now can they secure the Lord here? They might still just wait for a reset.
It's as if you could hear Captain just going, what do you mean go back? We're going to fight this, man. Just keep going. And that was the right call. The leadership of Chapman to say, screw it all, man. Just go ahead and see if we can get even more kills. I was so slow. He got stunned there by James Max. Could have been back by TNC. Have started this Lord already.
We should just get this.
Yeah.
Knowing that James Banks was up there, that'll get TNC the Lord they needed, and that's an evolved Lord. So this is now the moment for TNC to flip this in their favor. They've been down for multiple minutes up to this point. They should get to these base turrets of AP Bren.
What a great push and pull. Both teams are showing off some great decisions in team fighting when it comes to engaging, re-engaging, making the most out of your battle spells to reposition the fight and then going again. But
Saida all alone here. James Max doesn't like a stun, but can Nova actually. Now they go in for the dash of his land. Saida's still running away, and he's gonna be okay.
Saida breaking ankles in the basketball court of Victoria Sports.
Oh my goodness, so many ultimates used at that moment to make sure they could take him down.
Everyone here in the FPL arena was holding their breath. He's still trying to get away from Jason.
He gets outplayed by Saida, and now TNC trying to push in. She's nowhere to be found. The defense for AP Bren is gone. 2 turrets taken, and this is looking like a game number 3. Can Nova buy enough time? He cannot. TNC will tie the series.
If you don't like that, you don't like mlbb East Coast, baby. It's showtime in Victoria Sports Tower.
I like that. Oh, man. Zaida said, I see your million moves. Here's mine. 1-on-1. Top lane. I love to see it when the junglers do that, man. When they are just off their own world, and it comes down to a skill match.
Literally in their own world. Because so many things were happening while they were doing that. There was a Lord marching down. There was like an entire 4 people of TNC trying to push in. And for some reason, I did not see Shizu suddenly got deleted from that fight.
Yeah.
And we needed him. They needed him.
Well, him and Dexter. Maybe Quad and Dexter, yeah. You know, it was one of those things where you gotta imagine, and every single time that we have seen this throughout the competitive scene of MLBB, when a jungler is able to break ankles, to make moves, to buy so much time and get so many ultimates and resources out and stay alive to tell the tale, is crazy, man. It does crazy work in the long game, and that's exactly what happened here.
It was this play. It was Chaplin's decision. It was TNC's decision. Ask the team to just go forward. He decided to break it. He goes to the left. He goes to the Eula step. Behind the back between the legs. 360. And then he decided, let's go through it again. Come on. I thought it was a 1v1 between him and James Banks. But that was insane performance by both teams. But with TNC getting the win here, us going to game number 3, it just goes to show the TNC that we offer number 2. Oh! You see me in the crossover from Zydo. Oh my goodness.
Our draft for game 3 is still going to kind of follow that theme that we've seen for the previous 2 games.
Was it Flying Clouds now?
It's flying clouds, yeah. So that's even more chaos because you can just get back to the chaos faster.
Yeah.
My only question is, can someone just play glue already?
Why do you want to
You
go?
want to see Patrick's game?
Yes, it's really mainly that. No, but also when you see, I feel like glue is like the hero that could mess up both of these teams.
Oh.
This ban messes things up at least slightly. Also, TNC's on the blue.
Yay, we switched sides.
This AP Bren needs to ban on Justin. After everything that we've seen so far, I don't want AP Bren not give that right now to Lancy. Really bad. It seems like Chaku's on one of those beats as well where he's just like, yeah, I'm here to fight. So they even ban on the Korea, that's wild. Hold is going to be open, if you already got taken out. Your main trades are Leomord is still up, Juicing is still up, Beef is still up.
No,
There's Juicing, okay, that's good. So we're down to Leomord and Eve. If AP Bren, it's okay, AP Bren can give the Eve.
Yep.
And then if ever AP Bren will then pick up the Leomord plus the, you don't need to rush the Farsa. The rest I can dive. Their top private pick.
And if AP Bren doing what Penny said, they probably don't care about banning the Sora.
Yeah.
What did Benny say?
He's not going to play Sora.
Yeah, he said, I don't want to play this
I'm
song.
not going to play Sora.
Never?
Yeah,
He said never?
to the live.
Yeah.
But even to the mic check.
Yeah. This is
Oh yeah, the last little second there. Wow, man, that's respect, James Banks.
respect. I like that.
Respect.
Taking it away from Zyda.
That's a confirmation, yes, from our camera, by the way. That was span out the fanny.
Okay. So your trades right now, as you mentioned, Leomord. Also pick up Leomord. AP Bren can shoot that one. Also pick up the. Actually, no, you can also think about picking up the Farsa. Because the threat of the Leomord going up against the Eve is that Eve is just going to get dived on relentlessly. And royalty in
There is Mr. Leomord.
So. Oh, they can also even go Kimmy if they want, but they'll need to pair it up to the Gatot. It's not priority as the Eve or the Farsa. If they go Farsa Eve, it's the pattern rotation. Shifting. Actually, it's still open.
The lead is open to one cheap prize.
There's a lot of options here.
So if they do go for that,
I think they you should hold on to Sora being a flex. Don't show your gold laner or your EXP laner yet.
Just go jungle.
Yeah.
Or maybe the mid. Okay, yeah, get the mid.
Okay, go east. TNC should lock in the far side. Yeah. Just already have your mages. Oh, they can even do Juicen. Juicen would be fine.
But just is bad.
Oh, no, Zetian. I always say about Zetian is what I mean.
Same.
Also,
I'm okay with the Zetian here. Because the dive entry by AP Bren, Zetian passive could mess up the Zoro as well, and then you drop down a few with the Phoenix to stop the health.
Zipton Holder in the early songs.
Oh,
Terrifying.
yeah. I like that. I like that.
Oh, I think it's Chucky wants another like catch echo. Though the Koreans. So other options include the curry that they want to do.
It's like right. We got the Gratis and the Jack.
Now you know it's a great way.
Yeah, that's actually big. Yeah, no ISS. That's been the thing.
It's chaos though. Like it's a weird once. Oh my god, yeah.
So I think it's 1-1.
1 for 1.
Yeah, 1 for 1.
But I think the YSS is that was a discussion we had in day one was him having the flicker is something for like the audience. It's like, oh yeah, you're so used to seeing him in the jungle. But then it also allows the YSS to kind of play like a pseudo jungler when the Lord is up, like he'd be the one kind of tanking him and stuff, and then you can really utilize Mount Shocker, even from the gold lane, technically, if you get the call for it, you know? So this next pick, to round this out, there it is, this is going to go with the Marcel. I think they pick up a Marcel in one of the bands. It could possibly be a Zetian here.
This is good. There's going to be a lot of dives. You allow yourself to reposition a bit with Marcel Golden Hour, which so far this seems to be the trend with Golden Hour. You use it to just delay the damage a little bit, you wait it out, and then once the Golden Hour is down, you take that moment to regain the cooldown that did come back for you, and then at the same time reposition, readjust, and then go for the all-in yet again.
Yeah, we're still against history in Mod 2, especially once you get that Phantom.
People might have to go with tanky jungler. I want to see you try out an assassin more. Unless you're going to go for the trade that we saw in Onic versus K-State, which was the Harley. Is what they'll pick up, because they need a little bit more magic damage too.
In the qualifiers, or the recent Asian Games qualifiers, I think James Pang's over on the Gunivis and the Akais.
That's why we saw the band previously.
Akai would be good too. Valentine to worry about.
Valentine might be a little bit difficult here.
Yeah.
If they come with that.
Or maybe just because I'm seeing the research.
Yeah. I mean, there is a lot of value because if ever you land it, you first have that traceless. Because if ever you see the good of your jump, you're gonna want to use the traceless already just so that you don't get caught by it. Which would allow the Sora to come in, put that on the Kimi, that would have been perfect. So now they'll have to lean more towards the second or the far side.
You see that great band again.
That maybe. So now if you go Kai, you might be lacking a little. They'll have to spin.
It's weird though, because there's a golden R and then there's another spin.
Yeah.
Unless you constantly pin them down, like single not even gold laner options are added for Shizu.
It might end up being something like a Moskov here. Because it looks like TNC, whatever they end up with in the XP lane is going to be a lot of dive. So they'll need a Moskov to be able to knock back whoever gets close enough.
The current too.
Yeah. Go laner last, just pick up your jungler now.
Yeah.
Because you'll have the Sora Flex option if ever. But if they pick up their jungle now and there's going to be a gold lane Sora, then the jungle also has to be someone with strong basic attack damage.
So, you know, So we floated the idea of the winners. Yes, they believe okay.
We're gonna hold off on the jungle here. So now we know where the Sora is definitely going, and then you have the Moscow there in the gold lane.
Yeah, because it's KVJ2 anyway.
Yeah.
Skin the underground.
It made me one of the annoying, and I called back a little bit of an old favorite. If TNC's last few picks here are a little bit static in the mid, so you have the Zetien, double down on the dive, there is a Zetien. Just go back to an old favorite, James Banks. Give us a Lucas. Oh, never mind.
No.
That was bad.
All right. There's the Alice. The Zetien I expected because of Marcel's across there too, and it wasn't banned out. So
It's rough.
yeah, this is gonna be pretty tough. I feel like to deal with now. What is it gonna put in the jungle for James Banks?
Coach T. Yeah, Akai is gonna be sad here. Honestly, you know what? Yeah, just go Lucas. Is there someone in this area?
Pero ito na ban.
Yeah, Dollars
We saw that once.
Yeah.
All the assassins now, because it looks too difficult to pull up an assassin.
Lance is pretty much gone.
I'm gonna do a Fred. What do you?
And Fred's gonna be rough.
Harley?
Yeah, we mentioned the Harley earlier as the other option.
I was thinking either Fred or Baksha. Something you just. It's almost like they just want that extra, that layer, of tankiness.
Yeah.
But they're kind of lacking damage unless somehow the Moskov can pop off. But then again, you have an E, but like even then, in a sense, it's not like you can do too much right away. And I'm also interested to see how KillVJ will work with this Sora and build it out.
Because even if you guys go for the storm by, okay, bring them in, the real world,
It's like crowd control.
but not unless Shizu's online.
Yeah.
It's not like a guaranteed win for the team fight, like T and C.
Yeah, the difference is, it's the process of the Alice that's really messing up. The Alice and Zetien together, even just by covering the other three, those two up against what TNC has, what AP Bren has. I'm leaning TNC here, but it's a little bit more easier to give the condition you want of the TNC, but if AP Bren gets theirs, then there is a good chance as well for them.
Well, we're gonna find out here. We jump into the land of Donna one last time for this series. It's game 3 with AP Bren and TNC.
We will have an out. I don't need to worry about it this one.
It's got a lot of damage. TJ.
Oh, he pretty much is going to chase it. You'll have to figure out.
He did. Okay.
Calculated. He knew.
Yeah, calculating that one. Again, that's what you're capable of doing.
And I think 3-1 also missed out on the first minion. Not the wave, but just literally the first GB minion up front.
Yeah, the little minion there. Okay, and then not too much. Again, in this mid lane, this mid start, we're gonna have to see if Chakno's able to do what he's known for doing with this Grok here.
Imagine she's a perfect. Benekini ended up getting the gold card, or is that? No, Benekini might have ended up getting the gold card under his own nose in a 2v1 scenario. Maybe of the EXP? Yeah, and she's still level 1 and Benny King to get level 3, and doesn't really matter.
Some towers here and there. I think this is what Benny's also more comfortable with, actually playing. Oh, the swing, catching over. No phantom speed for Zyda. But also a lot of resources already burned in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's what they want to do. Joe kind of did it here. I think it's just both teams kind of testing what they can do with their competitions this early on. So not too much though, and they'll kind of just go for this turtle.
Yeah, KVJ not level 4 yet, that's the difference.
Zyda waiting for an opening. Gets spotted by Nova here, but just some thundercard for KVJ! And the feeling of the Phoenix too! First blood opening is when we get another, and that's gonna be 3 Nova trying to chase for Lancy.
for me, great execution. That's exactly what they needed. TNC team knew that they had an advantage. They all did already. But then Jelly's entry was perfect in that Sora. He hit level 4 just in time. The gaming with a bit ultimate.
Yeah, a little perfect timing there for him at level 4. Granted how things went too. And that got themselves a nice bit of a lead. You can see the build coming into play too. No first arms locked in, but good enough armor out for James Banks. And then against the
taking him down. That was Kelvin J with a bit of help from James Banks.
Yeah, and he burns the flicker out too, did 3 more. So now it's Kel VJ online, AP Bren ready to go. What I had for them, it's immediately gone. They were able to take the conditions through the EXP lane.
This was an early cut. We thought they would actually get punished.
Now he's 2-0.
This is just such an aggressive EXP lane.
It's nice to see. It's refreshing to see, you know. Kill VJ over there. And again, the amount of damage he's actually providing, because that's what we were wondering, you know, this kind of lineup that AP Bren has, but so far so good, at least in that sense. And he's going to be right there for that next turtle to come up too. So they want to deal with that, and part of this is also just getting the itemization they need. But one of the different factors for the next objective take TNC have these crucial level 4s they need, because Alice and Zettian are still a pretty big threat that you have to worry about and then work against some of that range and then the setup potential there. And this is why I want to say Nova's the first one to get a win from Marcel. We're going to see if he's able to replicate that here this time too, just watching how aggressive he plays this hero.
Yeah. Okay, might be joining this upcoming fight. It'll be easier for Shizu though, just with the SOD, but all TNC are doing right now is just positioning themselves across the map first.
Okay, Nova getting division. 3 doesn't have a full item just yet. 2 rolls on the Oracle first item. Prodigy going for the war axe first, but we get a leather jerkin on the way there. No for boots, first one comes in.
3 catches KLBJ with the throw of ruins with the golden R stops everyone else, even the SOD. But nonetheless, it's still loud. Shizu joining the fight team back to the throw, and now they want more. They're trying to go for TNC, but TNC disengage.
Yeah, a bit of a messy fight there. Benny still here. I think he's just gonna poke a bit back to lane.
Oh, the table shift actually has an up, but Shizu! Oh! Okay, that's all they needed. That's all they needed.
Oh, but Nova, yeah, he gets punished. I would say worth it. Nova's very aggressive, burning that flicker down, but takes out the gold laner for TNC Benny Cutie.
Flicker with a picture. That was clean by Nova. Man, the Sora and Eve again by Travis and Otto. They had a great combo with this. In their match against Omega, they're showing it off yet again. And then my fears that I had for the match again, gone. Really just because after how the first ever fight went and then the kill on 3 after, this Alice is no longer an issue to them.
Climax finds multiple members of TNC. Nova going in, reload them again. Throne of Ruin just to stop everyone. If Shizu joining the fight, TNC yet again. They're always forced to just run away.
Yeah, if they can't get anything, then that's fine. It at least stalls the fight out enough to go ahead and just get a clean and disengage. They might potentially go for more, maybe get this turret down. You saw that push from KLBJ down to the bot side, gets a little bit of damage on the tier 1. I don't know.
He handled this. He's all alone up against 2. KLBJ using Thunder Form. Heaven's Wrath gets through. Oh my god! Drop the kill!
KLBJ's online.
King is back! Seems like the little world tour that he went on right after FBF Philippines Season 10 just worked out well for him.
This is the aggression you want to see from KLBJ and in the hands of the Sora. Playing out great. Like you mentioned, he's got a war axe, a little bit of defense, a belt now too, but he's still able to pump out quite a bit of damage in that form. And so he's fine, and he's going to be a problem for TNC as this game continues on.
They don't get to reset the turtle. Nova's really low, but TNC might not make it in time. That's even with the Phantom Steed from Zyva. So he's a two back and forthing, but here in the last, Benny Cutie tries to go for Nova. Doesn't get caught in the golden R.
Jackie does though. Oh, if he wants a tech charge?
Now they do tech charge and third of them, but they're fighting under the turret, and now it's James Banks who actually has counter Five Lancy, Chapman's down to three more. You'll have to run away.
That was desperate. I don't know what.
He was ready to join and now gets to finish off the kill on three more. Phantom's team gets committed by Zyda. He will defend this mid lane turret.
As I was saying before I lost my marbles, TSC should not have done that.
And you should not forget about Kill VJ right now.
Not forget it. I will say this: the simplest matter is it's XP lane diff. KLVJ is diffing three more so hard right now, dude.
Yeah, I feel like
No other way to put it.
that's been the story throughout the series, man. Kill VJ has been putting online, and this is one of those situations where you have so many things to worry about if you're TNC. And this whole time, Shizu was able to go ahead and continue to farm up. He's been protected really well. Aqua picking up a divine gold now at this point, and even Aqua's real world manipulations have just been really good and on point. And TNC might need to check themselves not to make some of those desperate moves like we saw in the tier 1 turret early on in the mid.
Absolutely not what we expected because of the damage profile.
Really damage for an XP laner.
But it's also
Killing It's a Solar and Eve. Okay, I think that has to be one combo we have to watch out for if they're going up against AP Bren. It's gone really well for them so far, very early on into the season. Look at the gold difference, 2,000 lead for the Sora. Gold lane is still very close despite the one death with benefit he has, so that's a silver lining.
Yep.
There's a big lead also for Aqua's team. So that's the Divine Glaive Rush. So they really want to end this quick. There's no magic defense items just yet full on, except for that Oracle. But even Chakman's going to be feeling the pain of the real world manipulation from that Eve.
That's one of the problems here is if it gets to the late game, it's a problem for AP Bren because TNC they should be able to scale decently up. I'm kind of worried for Zyda though because he's on this wheel more and he hasn't really been able to do too much. But there is going to be a point in time where they can rely on scaling and then of course setup potential. And that might be the saving grace for TNC as they get to this portion of the game where you're concerned with the rewards here. Benny QA2 on the YSS and the gold, like you mentioned, it's been 50-50 essentially throughout this week one opener for the season, and right now it just hasn't been able to do too much in terms of team fighting against AP Bren.
and the way that AP Bren have been so yeah, it is.
Oh no.
I know it will take time for Zena to go online, but
Neymar is going to be wild. He's going to be wild to be able to,
Not 3 Mars, not 4 Mars, not 5 Mars,
maybe 8 Mar,
maybe 8 Mars.
and Mar is minutes. That's how much time he needs. I mean, getting handed to Kill Region, he pretty much gapped 3 Mar on this one, and it puts yourself in a very tough situation just because your XP laner is so important here. Fight for the also have to clue again.
oh, Zyda will try to go in, doesn't get caught in the golden arm, but the throne is ruined. What? Zyda actually takes the Lord for TNC. Now AP Bren wants to go in for the fight, but TNC denies them.
Zyda from man that you are, don't count TNC out just yet. Easy last steal from Zyda.
Zyda did something cool. I know you said Kill might be able to do it, but somehow Zyda,
It was Zyda, man.
he jumped in fearless with Barbiel and gets the Lord. And that buys time. This is what we were saying that they needed, especially to catch up on some of the itemizations here in these roles, specifically Fremont, to kind of help alleviate some of that responsibility of being a tankier front line to mess with AP Bren. So this Lord is going to be rushing this really quickly. But it's gotten them here to this fight now.
Okay, they try to open the setup. Now she's just landing on almost every single
single member of TNC what a turnaround for AP Bren. Spear of Misery. What an apt name. Just when you thought TNC had a win, it was a big stud grouped up all together. Shizo. Eventually perfect time.
That we're all like that.
All lined up on point. Maybe go for the base turret now too. I mean, we're gonna end it.
Yeah. Oh, it's caught! If they just focus on the base turret for now. Yet again, another instance of the Lord seemingly not happy at all. Not happy at all.
No matter at all. All that Lord was going to be was some bot time. Well, that was just pretty much dealt with too. AP Bren maintaining the lead they've had for the majority of this game, and still no answer for Kill VJ. 5-0-3 now, but now you're seeing the threat of Shizu as he picks up his win of nature. So he's got the defensive item he needs. He's up on all the items that he needed to really pop off and shine in this Moscow. So again, playing around these road manipulations from Aqua. Like I mentioned earlier, too, that Divine Glaive early on was just a very crucial being able to actually provide some good covering fire and damage on the Eve.
Yeah, well, look at you since they also have Divine Glaive on land too. But now Jackson's just waiting for a big Radiant offer for himself. Probably the Chastise Cauldron. Okay, now that we grant that purple. Oh, Nova?
No one's got some moves. Yeah, that felt like a slow-mo.
You know, I'm going to sound Marcel is the funniest tank of all time. Imagine this. Skinny lanky dude with blue hair with a camera that talks. Yeah. Going up to you taking pictures. He gets faster getting close to you, and then you're wondering, why am I frozen? Oh, and how come he's so tanky?
And his health looks the same.
He's a goofy robot, but he's so strong. Oh, look at Kiel.
Oh, Kill, he's after Zyda. Forced to use the phantom speed. Stormfight doesn't land. Gets him the golden arm. But now, oh, there's a knockup coming from Joshua J. That's the manipulation as well. They're all getting thrown down so well. Female falls down first.
Oh, they might be engaged.
He just wants to work on the objective. Nova stunning multiple members again. And they're getting flushed out of the smart pit.
Oh, I don't think Zyda can do anything. He does have the Barbiel, but they're just going to have to give up AP Bren to the Lord.
Man, it's so goofy, but it's just so strong. What is up with Marcel and Nova? He draws so much attention. The reason why TNC team just led in that situation is because Nova was literally running in front of them. There's little instances of just the microstuns, a little bit of damage that he can do.
I get it.
It's like it stacks over and over again. It's just like, bro, it's exactly what you said. It's a mosquito,
He's a
man.
mosquito.
And you don't have one of those sappy tennis rackets.
Yes.
I don't know what I like better. Is it the mosquito or the funniest type of raspberry?
That can be true. They can both be true.
True, because yeah, he's running around and just taking snapshots. This Lord going mid. Good block with the Rampart here to delay this what they can. Here's a fight though.
Be careful of LBJ. He's seeing what he wants to do for another set up. Goes in, and all Shizu wants is to take down that base turret. Down bottom. At least he get to defend the Lord too, though.
They force a fight here. They'll either jump forward, not going to be able to find that connection he was looking for. I think all they get is the bottom base turrets. You can see ultimately, I'd say this is a successful defense. They're able to stay in, and despite being down almost 8,000 gold.
It is. They're still definitely in this. It's now going to be just a really tough climb though for the super team to completely turn it around. 7,000 gold lead, and yeah, it's at the 50k to 42k. That is still a significant lead. Once we get closer to TNC being at 50, that's how you know, okay, they should probably already be good on the items. Which, by the way, let's check that out. Yes, no full magic defense item yet for Chapter. He had to rush the immortality instead. Only up to a malefic roar for the Ascension, which in the majority of scenarios should be fine. Looking at the box shot, up to a winter crown. The moments where the Tortoise's Puissance are down on the feet of TNC and James Banks is just a winter crown. That's a little bit of combo that you should watch out for here. Up to the blood wings as well for Aqua, so it's not going to be as easy to take him down with all the shields that he has. And just built up a Holy Crystal as well. LVJ just dominance ice, and still it's the even the sword together that's topping the damage of charts.
You just can't feel either Bren inside there.
That's not RBL, man. That's a pony. That's not a random seed. It's a phantom pony at this point.
Yes, that's genuine.
I don't know. Zyda was pretty much shut down from the beginning of the game, so which is why it was impressive when he was able to take an objective. Now, can he continue to do that? One thing for sure about Zyda is he has been one of the players in the league that is impressive with the retribution and being able to secure objectives even when they're down. Now, that's the question: can he actually do it here in this situation, this game? And I think AP Bren, even the way they play around the team fights, there's still respect to that possibility. So we'll see them get a position. The spot Zyda out. He's probably just going to annoy him. Gets the Phantom C down as well. And that might be the sign they're going to go for this Lord and secure it.
Oh, but because the last hit still going to be getting past 3 mark. Oh, and the goal of Ruins. Uriel's getting as well. But Aqua just gets to pick up the safety and his elimination for the punish. Shizu getting chased by Chapu. Still doesn't go down. And now it's Nova just constantly annoying the remaining members of Betty responds with a punish.
It's a 4v2 and AP Bren has a Lord.
It's only Betty and Maxi left. That's a winter cup play from James Bass. Perfectly timed. Another attempt from Kelly. And they will both go down. And so does TNC. It's another victory for AP Bren.
They will solidify themselves at the end of week 1 as number 1 in the league. The king isn't just back, he's kicking ass and taking names.
What a opening weekend here we've had already. And AP Bren, probably not the team you exactly expected to be at the top of the standings here after this victory. A very impressive showing. And my goodness, I'm not sure who to give MVP here to, but Nova
Was doing it, man. Yeah, despite we have to not forget about Nova on this Marcel. That perfectly encapsulated the frustrations of TNC Pro Team in this game, Renmark.
Yo, sorry, just think about this. Go ahead. Marcel has 2 wins, and they're from Nova.
Yeah.
They're both from Nova. That's true. I'm sorry, I hope I didn't.
No, it's fine. He's now the best Marcel in the league.
He is.
Think about it. In the end, they had one skinny little blue-haired guy taking pictures of him. And that's why he couldn't join the Lord in time. And so TNC just decided to pull the trigger on the desperate fight. Chatler actually, I appreciate what he was trying to do. He lifted the flicker to try and take Shizu down. But at that point, the other members of AP Bren were just way too stacked.
We're going to have to throw it over on
For
Expanding rivers.
Expanding Rivers. So they chose
Expanding Rivers. Home team here. Onyx going to be on that blue side. Team Falcons over on the red. And this is going to be interesting too. It's great to see Ducky over here behind the boys for Team Falcons. No change.
So you know what I'm thinking is could Onyx select Expanding Rivers because they want to be aggressive and take it to the face of Falcons so that they don't have to just play the slow poking type, or is it because they want to make sure that they can get and call for reinforcements from all across the map wherever they may be? So we'll see when it comes into what they pick up. They ban out the Valentina and Avis actually forces out this juice and ban from Falcons. So now there's only going to be two main mid laners we have to watch out for, Zakin and Farsa, when it comes to long range. Because one of these teams might suddenly show up with a kill in the center of the map, for something like a Gata Gacha, Rock, or a high loss pair up with it. Or there's also a very fearsome combo in the Kali Candy.
Yeah, there are a few other mid laners which also started to gradually appear even in like Onyx recent games in the qualifiers, some of it being the Lily of the Super Prince even, and we are yet to see some of that. But because we're down to, let's say, again, the Fars and the Zetchen, we do know how the common response is being the Zetchen into the Fars, but
also have to acknowledge on the stage right now for Team Falcons is actually Coach Rudy.
in the Johnson
On there, and Coach
Ducky is here though. We actually, we got to visit with him for a bit. And so he's in the building. First picks up for grabs here. A bit of a different banning phase too than what we've seen just in the previous series alone. Of course, this is picked up, but with Leo first pick, there's so many options here. Do they go the lane? Do they go with the Valentine? Oh no, Valentine's been
Falcon is gone. A little more Sora is actually an option now for the first pick for Onic if they want to. So there are some teams that go for a surprise Kalea first pick when there's so many options available. They say that they do go for the surprise Kalea rush.
Yeah, and Onyx still has that Harley if they want to go for a different kind of partner. So maybe they're not really prioritizing the board at this point, or depending on whatever Falcons decide to reveal. Okay, so Kyle, you gotta get used to it.
Yeah, gotta get used to it. Kyle.
Kyle Flap is going to go for the back show.
One with a classic bid too. This is for this marquee heroes quad.
The rest of now is Falcons can just show up with a red 3 or red 4 Grok.
Yeah.
Then have to go up against a Grok Baksha. I think they might have to decide whether or not they want the Kimi or Farsa. But they might pick the mid laner first and then the Grok later on if it is still going to be available for them. But I don't think Onic are going to be willing to give that. They might have to commit some bans in the second phase for that. They can go either with a carry gone, with all the dive, damage, Harith might be tough. They might have to send a little for a Moss ball. So as expected, so so play the YSS. Remember, it's still a flex. Could go gold, could go jungle.
I like that, and technically in this case, having the Sora, having the YSS, two heroes now that are currently very flexible. Great options. There's a Farsa. That's kind of what we expected to be picked up too. You've got your artillery that you need to go ahead and lay that ground cover for the Claw to be able to move. Plus the Boxer's already gone. So, and this is also a great pick for Haji to go ahead and use.
Yeah. With the Eve gone, let's see if they'll still commit bans from either the Zekian or the Kimu. But if we end up banning both, that's insane. If they're really just going to play hackathons, because they're going to already ban on the Valentina in the Eve. Red 4 can actually slot in a lot of roamer options for Falcons. You can even surprise them with the Baksha in the roam. But again, with it open, Rock that's really great options for them. They are still respecting the tech style of Onic by taking out the Harley.
Yeah. So even if let's or maybe they're also trying to force and limit the options of the solution and where it could potentially go to. I mean, both of these technically should have been flex heroes, but they can't at the same time.
Yeah.
So like it's a bit more decided that Sora is likely going to go into the EXP.
I mean, it's flexible. Like there's still a way to kind of go around this because you see that early band coming out I mentioned earlier on. They're going to be focusing on XP options here for flat though. And I think we've talked about this quite extensively about how just crucial XP lane is and has been for a while now. Flat being one of those players specifically that's capable of making plays, and he's one of few people that even pick a Tesla, for example. So it's like Flat's is also what makes him such a strong XP laner to be able to go ahead and do that. But you can also say that the same on the other side. For sure, so there's the last man. It's a little more. This is kind of this might put Onic in a pinch a little bit in terms of what they actually decide to put in the battle.
Right, so Falcon is forcing Onic to play that section in the jungle, which is gonna suck. Obviously, going up against the far side Bastra and then whatever roamer shows up here for Falcons. Onic really need to commit roamer back here. It can be an XP. The CC was okay, understandable if ever they do want to put the Sora in the EXP. CC managed to stop okay, and everyone getting tethered by the curtain call. Actually, I would have been tough for them considering that they are playing against a clock in a Farsa. And not the roamer on take out options.
Realized that the lead Marcel.
Yeah, I have to get used to.
Yeah, honestly, I know that Kalito both actually still okay.
Yeah, yeah. The first thing is though, if they end up picking it up way too early, show the roamer right away, Onic can swerve and still end up putting the essential in the old lane. There is also an option for the Sora to go gold. If ever they are okay with putting Kagon in the jungle and they're just trying to play for defense, I think Falcons just need to pick up their last finger now, but with how the language of the camera is going, it's one more time.
This is where we find out, and that's why I was saying it's such a great flexible pick, the Wysis and Sora, because technically you can swerve it in multiple ways. But with this, these next two picks will really tell us where they're going, depending on what their mid is going to be, and then to go against the Farsa. Traditionally, you see that Valentina picked up, but that was banned down, and the Jushin's gone. What are your last two have?
Kimmy, maybe? The Tuscan, Farsa, Kimmy's there, Kimmy can lay it together, might be okay with the trades, but the Western counties will just have to refer. Farsa's also broken.
So that's something we did show in the previous paragraph. Just didn't expect it to come through with players that can still open.
Yeah. And he's good here.
Yeah, so this is like gonna be done. And then the e-social boot.
Yeah. So I think Falcons should have considered something like a Lapu because yes, it's good that you have the Lapu to just play this 5-8 jump in, you force outfits out of Emilio, you think away the black shoes, or you might force reactions out of the Wise, stick away the traceless, but there's a lot of that we get the Lapu alone just to force that out might not be enough, so they might need another tankier body. I also okay with this aggression. They might even go for the surprise benefit, but then with a lot of ability here, I still want to set up for the okay. They still want to go for the let's just pop out resources, but this is going to be more of a utility game if the early game doesn't go well for Flat.
That's the second time we preferred something else, but this happened.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys want to go and try to win 1,000 diamonds, super fans, you guys can scan this QR code, predict the match winner correctly, and you get a chance to win 1,000 mlbb diamonds. Don't forget to scan that QR. You guys can let us know too in the chat who you think has a better team composition for this game one between these two teams, Onic, Philippines, and Team Falcons.
68 to 32% for the super fan predictions.
You know what? That is just the super fan. That's just the super fan. Man. That's just the super fans for the super fan base. Looking at this one more time, you can see this across the board. That lineup is in favor of Falcons just a bit, and it's just more of a well-rounded. I think when you look at the damage profile and what they're capable of doing from the early game all the way to a late game, the potential is there. Whereas this is a quick game, one that ends quickly, and that would be Onic that's capable of doing that with this kind of lineup. But let's jump into the land of Dawn. This game one is best of 3 around now, week 1 of FPL 2017.
I have to point out that so far, the history of the Claude versus YSS matchup did not really go that well for Claude so far. YSS has given Claude a lot of difficulty in the game. It seems that he's a continuing trend. Overtakes a lot of the mid and also has start.
Ouch.
Something you should be careful about when up against Aurelia. Kyle cannot get away from this too.
You said rough, now it's rougher. Yeah, totally missed there by Falcons. Onic just made that look so easy. I don't think they were expecting that much damage to come out of the Lily early on. I think it's a little bit of a surprise for them. Even though they might have gone up against it in the Asian Games qualifiers. You know, let's see if we can get Kirk. Okay.
Oh no.
That was big.
Got flicker. That is a start for Onic. I mean, think about it. You're under 2 minutes, you're almost 1,000 rolled up. With the kills too, going over to Super Friends and Bosco are going to be very strong in terms of, that trio mid being able to rotate with a bit of that advantage leading into the first turtle is something that Team Falcons, I want to decide, do we truly want to fight for the first objective, or would it potentially be better that we just kind of let things settle in and maybe let that one go? But I just don't think that's going to be Team Falcons.
I feel like it was a mismanagement of resources there by Oberyn in the mid. Didn't make the most out of the Desert Tornado dashes, might have missed on his quicksand guard as well. Should not have happened. That was just a great capitalization errors by Onic.
I was expecting the first skirmish to happen by the time that Jungle rotates the mid lane. The potential fight for Kyle, but speaking of the program, who they're actually trying to go for. Only down to PC, Kyle's going in. Who's going? Will he get targeted here? So Sanders already completed as well. Now he's coming in from Kirk. Takes down Haji. Next is Kyle. Lap cannot escape this as well. 5-0 kill score favoring Onic.
Yeah, Haji just walked into that alongside the other members of Falcons. Seems like a lot of disrespecting a little bit by Falcons in terms of the main conditions for the fights. With Onic now in your face and in control, and they're making it look so damn easy. Great start for the Super Fan.
This is one of those things, again, while you're reminded how usually you see Sora kind of fanned out. Once that level 4 was available for Kirk, he was able to go ahead and turn that team fight around by a great initiation and then a follow through. And even the grid here, man, like we were talking about this in the draft before, where there's a reason why some teams will fan it out because Bravio's ability to jump in, spatial migration, the Requiem, sets things up, and it's just another added layer of crowd control when you have a Kalea. Owen could be in trouble here.
There's Happy's Knowledge Lab and the spatial migration. Raging Sands more committed with the Violet who could mix it in time.
This is what I'm talking about. The crowd control options for Onyx lineup are kind of crazy.
Yeah. Lineup rating looks really good for Falcons, but in terms of the overall execution, Oberyn is just biting the dust. Time is out of us biting the sand.
Onyx, I see what you did there.
Bruskos, I like how he just seals the car lead every time. If he has a crowd control ability, he'll throw it. He's always together with super friends. It just hurts. This is just a good all super fan movements, and Falcons don't look like Falcons right now.
Right now they're feeling with super friends, feeling pretty confident off of this. Kyle, he's not falling too far behind, given the fact that he's died twice. He's trying to, this is one thing Monster can do, especially on the expanding rivers. It's hard to run pretty well, but just don't want to continue to get punished. I feel like if he dies again, then he's in danger territory here, because you can see there's a bit of a lead there for King Kong to go ahead and deal with, and he's going to continue to punish around the buffs, and that's why Team Falcons has to protect Kyle's space here.
Talk about protect. The guy who's expected to protect gets taken down first. 7,000 and from Kirk picking up a double kill. And Haji, oh no, another wins by wins just to fly to safety. Oh, he's not even safe.
Take out mid control and you will control the game. Falcons have zero answer. The super fan right now, it's 9-0. It's been a clinic by Briscoe, Fritz, and King Kong in the center of the map.
And that's a total secure build by King Kong. 2 turtles down the hands of Onic. 4K ahead. And for the majority of all this, Tavero is off. There's a snubby slam and a deleted flap.
Last who had the first item now actually already.
Fritz continues to get. I thought he'd just go for the full dive. Black shoes. Yeah.
Doesn't play with it anymore. It's really that early death. Haji Logan messing up the first minion wave trade in the mid just led to all of this. Every time everyone gets spotted, it's easy for Briscoe friends and or King to just immediately just jump on him because they can take him out really quickly.
I think the notch hopper again in the YSS and the gold lane really does benefit a team that knows with that. You can see this though too. Concentrated energy already.
Booster might be taken out here. It's up against 3 members, and finally Falcons actually secure a kill for themselves. But at the expense of 2-1 first maybe, and possibly even another member. And shut down! Flat out because King can find another kill here with super points, but Falcons, I believe they're turkey enough.
Good response, able to finally trade, get something on the board. They have so much room to cover though. They're still down massively across the board.
Final defensively there by King Kong. Stopped any chase. So 4-0 and 5. Falcons finally on the board after the aggressive play of Super Marco in the lane, called Briscoe up top. Briscoe needed to defend, and Falcons used that moment to just jump on Briscoe right away, who did not have Tsunami Slam at the time. They then translated that into good aggression by Flap and Haji in the center, spotting out Kirk, taking him out, and at least we have something, but Onic still definitely has control.
That's exactly what we're going for.
Okay, there's Gabby Flap, but there's like a response from Haji that King Kong find a setup here. He's left all alone, and actually gets punished. Another chip out from Falcons. He's out next. Haji thinking that the double is massive. He might just get picked off. Gets stopped in his tracks. Flap goes in. He takes down Kirk too. It's a flat back from Falcons. Sabero is next. His fortune is so high.
Is that a clap back or a flap back? Falcons coming out of the gate. The 100% goal flickered away by Open. More time and Haji flying away with a wins by wins. Now it's an even game. What a turnaround by Falcons.
They had so much ground to cover, and Team Falcons did it in one team fight. Haji gets away, popping the Purify the wings by wings, but man, that's exactly what they needed at this point of the game before that Lord comes up.
Super Marco was hella tricky with that DI with the last sequence. Now he has to commit it, and the Purify aspect as he was spotted out by King Kong, who now has a Queen's Wings. Now, this early on, with an opposing team with the lead, concentrating on the Queen's Wings King going to do is not a joke. It is so difficult to deal with, and if you overcommit and it still has some resources, some dash aways, some dash aways, you'll be able to recover and rejoin the fight, causing a lot of damage. Looking back at the instant replay, this was after the quicksand guard. Kirk is still gonna make it to this one. Super Marco blazing the web, forces Prince and Severo back. Here comes Kirk. That's why Briscoe went there to drag them a bit closer to Kirk, but it was a great play by Haji, who just pushed by wings. He didn't even commit the Purify. He didn't need to. Going up against Kirk, Kirk used a flicker, but Haji with just a great escape.
Yeah, it was just a step-by-step response when the Falcons there to a unsuccessful Tsunami Slam committed by Briscoe. Because again, King Kong, although reliable, also provided the necessary follow-up. But I feel like the usage of the Federal Strike at that moment made sure that no other member on it could also stand close to where these two setup heroes were. And now I'm seeing how Falcons are gradually crawling back a formerly 4K gold lead, now down to less than 1,000.
Yeah, they had to also power to catch up. He's done that. Earlier he was down 3 levels, by the way, so he's covered ground just himself, so it puts him in a much better position to actually contest safer in this first lore than it would have been if they wouldn't have had that massive swing in favor off that team fight. So now you're going to see Onic have adjust to this. They have to go ahead and respect what Falcon is capable of doing. Even Hodges, you see him when he's throwing airstrikes, he's able to go ahead and land a couple. The damage is starting to be there. And that's why I'm saying Onic has to respect this.
Yeah, the side right now is flat might end up being one of the main trades as he will be jumping forward towards Super Frames. The Super Fractures will be back in time, but Onic didn't go for the Lord. They decided to go for the third. Means that they can get both their own ass in line back. Super Frames with the Black Shoes and the first Haji with his own friend airstrike. Ogun was in an advanced position and gets spotted up by Ogun. Not by King Kong.
Okay, that's might be it.
There's a final strike as a response to the back to shield unity. 50% also committed by Falcons already.
And a flicker down from Super Frames. He's still at the Black Shoes though. Ogun might wait for the Raging Sandstorm to be back up unless they're forced to actually respond. And if Onic brings this Lord and down comes over the hell.
Yeah, it's King Kong actually secures it for Onic. Now Falcons might want to go for the fight. It's only Brewster left inside. Could they actually catch him right there? Using the Tsunami Slam instead. Doesn't get sniped by the Land Shaker, and now Kurt's trying to jump back in. No one falls from that tail fight.
Yeah, since the Lord is marching out here down bottom, it will force reactions can call behind enemy lines.
They don't have any idea. He gets caught by the best of Unity Hodges on a killing spree.
Oh, he wanted to do something, but that wasn't it.
It got caught out at the wrong time. Rechecked by Carlo. Maybe it could have been coincidence. We're still looking for plays. We'll not find it. The Lord is still marching down bottom and minion waves up top. Falcons seemed to make a call after that trade. They decided to just go ahead for the chase and got the tower down bottom. Again, even better for them because the Lord is down here at the bottom lane as well. Feather there, shot by Haji. Forces back on it.
And the keeper turned up. Great defense from Team Falcons. I go for an engage.
The Black Shoes are still available for Super Friends. Oh my God! Response from Kurt. And now Better tries to do Richard basic advantage. A shutdown on Haji. Kurt tries to save his team. There's a flicker available. Top four members of Falcons will not proceed unless
They forced this engage here. They got what they could. They still defended against that lower portion. And they held on for what they wanted to. But yeah, Onic still in control of this game. They got the advantage in terms of map objective and space to work with. They're going to take some of the bus from the Falcons and potential enough to take down the tier 2 turrets now. But still, it's a back and forth. You can see just how much potential Team Falcons does have if they can get a position in their favor. Let's take a look at the items here with a quick run mark.
Yeah, still majority leads Onic, although Ogun, after everything that has happened now, actually has a very slight lead up against Russo. Villagers very neck and neck, already up to a Malefic Roar is Severo, who actually has been very free during the majority of these team fights. Chris found Haji in the mid and hit a flap.
Falcons will go for it. They'll be funky enough to survive though.
See, I like how they're not committing. They know that they still really need to go ahead and respect the potential that Onic can win. If you find if they lose a team fight at the wrong time, they're not going to be able to contest this Lord. Team Falcons staying the slow and steady round, staying disciplined here, allowing Super Marco to continue to farm up. 0-0 and 6 has been playing pretty defensively as he should against this kind of lineup. But at some point, especially when he gets to the defensive items that he needs, the win nature even, he's going to be in an easier position to actually utilize that blazing duo. We've seen it a couple times. 5% Redmar, part of this is for flap. Trying to throw himself into this flap. Ogun lands a really sandstorm though. That's great. And twice I see them trying to do it here.
Mixing in time moves to Gaffney from King Kong! With the center vector! Catches three! And now Haji forcing his lightning down! Ogun standing in front of everyone, trying to tap the damage! And Severo will find Paul!
Now curated by Severo. Perfect use of the championship toss. And Onic has advantage as the jungler for Falcons is down.
I just tried to blame this though. They got the bodies here, and they stopped them from taking it.
Oh, Ogun and Flap are going in, and so is Super Marco! That's that blazing duet, but it gets cancelled out by the knock from Kurt!
Too much damage from Onic. Severo found Marco for the kill there.
and they'll fight for this sword. King Kong Center, open, staying out. Onic, Super Prince, secure the Lord. Man, what a fight.
Right now, it's really good. Savero, he's 3-0-4. Sticking with Onic again. So good. Building around no gold lane and protecting him. Goes through the traceless, makes the riot says hard to kill. The turtle ship toss from the mountain chakra, dealing damage while also being able to get some good crowd control to create space for himself. Kirk has been on point with the shifting grounds. Everything has just been going well for Super Fam. Despite the early or mid-game turnaround by Falcons, Onic has never really completely lost grasp of this game.
One of those things, too. You saw that when Super Marco went out with the Blazing Druid. He doesn't have much of a window. He's got to be so crucial in the timing of getting back to the DMI. But now they have to be on the defense here for the sword push up top.
Okay, find Kyle here. He gets to burst him down though. Get enough space just to focus on the turret at least. Blue Scope decides to still go in. Goes through the setup and now it's open. They decide to burst down. Saves him though. And Super Marco is the top mortality for Fusco.
Okay, no one fought, but a lot of resources gone. Items and battle plus as well, but there's still a lot of flickers on the side of Onic.
They have to fight to nail for these base turrets now. Even with this lead, it's a little bit it doesn't really paint the picture of just how difficult it is for Onic to actually push it into this base because of the composition of Team Falcons. Looking at the items, I guess it's a 6k deficit that Team Falcons have. There's a malefic gun that I put up for Super Marco. We had the Rune of Nature earlier on. Some of these other items too, these defensive ones especially, are going to be important for Team Falcons.
Look at that. It's 4 protect 1 line. Savero is the king right now for Onic Creation. As there is a 12,000 gold count on him already. That's how much money he's been able to get without a lot of contention. Again, he is still deathless. And as tough as base sieges are for Onic, it's equally tough for Falcons to try and turn things around. They're playing around the composition that is meant to just set things up for the blood to finish things in team fights, but you can't.
Yeah.
The burst is not enough on the side of Falcons to really put Onic in a dangerous situation.
Yeah, and this is a lineup that our club does not like to go up against usually because of the amount of ways that they could just cancel out the Blazing Duet every plays. You either have to avoid the spatial migration or the knockups from Kirk and even Brusco, because his ultimate is basically not just simply using the title strike either. Like every single time you go in, there are just multiple ways for Onic to deny you of the Blazing Duet.
Team Falcons might just find themselves in a position to actually contest this Lord the first time. Previous one, they already had that Kyle went down before they could even go for it. So now they're in this position where they can actually go toe-to-toe here with Onic. Despite being down this much gold, there's still potential there for them to make this happen. Kirk's going to be able to spot out open though, so you can't go on that off angle that you're so used to seeing Khalid's take, especially the way that they're posted up defensively around this brush.
Yeah, the thing is, if Falcons lose this fight, they lose the game. If they lose this Lord, then they might just lose during the siege. At some point, they might just actually have to force and try something. Onic is playing defense on this Lord so well. Falcons might have to settle for giving this. But they won't.
They're so fast. King Kong secures the objective. Cut it like from Haji, but Onic did not want to fight.
I like how Onic called that too. They secure the Lord, they reset, and they're ready to approach the base here. Good defense from Kyle, but a great body block and usage from Kirk on the sword to stop him even getting in a range to get the retribution off.
Kirk has been stellar in this game. Despite everything that the helmet trio for Onic, what they have done, you also have to give it to the side laner. Savero has done his job. Kirk has done his job. Everything has gone well for the Super Family. Can the Falcons defend?
Okay, they're not going to go for a full commit just yet. Falcons gets to clear the last minion in the mid. But that does not stop the Lord from marching in. King Kong jumps in and finds the stuns on Kyle. The freeze from Savero are really starting to hurt for Falcons. But King Kong gets traded out. Now it's flat who they potentially could go for next. So terrible squad, but he will not stand for long. Falcons are still trying to defend. Oh, let's go. He still got away, but Open is giving the chase.
Okay, he's giving the chase, but I don't think he's going to be able to touch them. He does have a flicker, but no team to follow through. He doesn't want to risk it. They already successfully defended against that Lord. They lost their base turret, the last one standing, but they're still in this game, reaching the 20-minute mark. Team Falcons now goes down the mid lane, pocket the concede.
Magazana conceded play, passed up in an airstrike just to somehow even out the map. Oh, but Prisco wants to go for the kill of Supermarket. Had to immortality either way, but that was a close one.
That is a purified. Supermarket left Dexter in the shrub where Savero and Superfish just came through. Superfish is really has been one of the biggest problems for Falcons in team fights because now Falcons and Open just eat everything up. And even every time Supermarket goes in, again, sorry to sound like a broken record, but it just gives so much damage every time he enters. He can't maximize the blazing duet. It'll get cancelled out somehow with a quick little lockup, or because it takes so much damage, he's forced to go back. Which begs the question: whatever happened to the Cloud Winter Crowns from M7?
That's also the Wind of Nature.
Yeah, it's a Wind of Nature. It's just the purifies. I miss the Cloud Winter Crowns from back then.
Well, maybe you'll see him switching it out later on, but right now he's Wind of Nature just because of the potential threat. This might be one to conceal used by Onic just to force Team Falcons back. This evolved Lord, though, is going to come down to it's going to be tactical from Team Falcons.
And this is a good tendency by Onic because Ogren and Supermarket frequently do this. And there's a lane where they can push opposite sides of Lord. So clear that will come through the river, do the mid lane, and then join the Lord fight if ever Onic moves from there. So what Onic does is they block the point where Falcons can pass through after to win the minion waves in the bottom lane.
Okay, so they get back in position. Onic responds down. Clearing up that bottom, and their advantage is that all the base turrets and Team Falcons are down. There's waves really pushing out. Someone's going to have to deal with that, depending on how they play this fight out.
And Black goes into the greatest fighter, but it gets knocked out by the spatial migration. Black's already forced out of Super Prince. Now he's looking to the fight! Super Falcon tries to finish off the kill, makes it in time! Super Prince goes down in the hands of Flap, with the Open and Flap survives. This is paused by Onic. Immortality's popped here and there, and Savero's unstoppable.
Super Prince brought so much time for that fight, and now they're still going.
Another immortality pops. Oh, Flap does not get away. A knockup. Kyle is the next target. But Kirk, he had his eyes set with the members in the back line all along. Super Falcon punches next. Out godlike performance from Savero, and he takes another double. King Kong puts an end to game number 1.
Onic, Philippines. It's Bulletproof Savero 804. Architect is back with an impactful performance. And Super Fan saying that hard win earlier this week was not a fluke. Falcons, not black Falcons.
I am the pressure.
And the pressure. 8. Halo and 4. I mean,
no, he was 0 deaths.
Again, that fight that broke out, and Super Prince, I don't know. Already caught that, but the amount of time he was able to buy with the immortality. Well, first the black shoes, then the immortality, and then a rare crown after that. Allowed them to actually basically come out on top with the win there because it was all expended to try to get Super Prince. It was a good attempt from Ogren. He actually tried to lock him down, go with him. Major Sandstorm, but then great fighting decisions from Onic here. Just capitalizing on, they could have went for the war, but they're like, you know what, let's just go for the kills, let's just end this here. And on Philippines, man, it's looking a different shade of the Super Fan, but still is that, man. It still look great.
Yeah, it's so calculated, but then they explode and suddenly show up at the right time. Kirk, especially here, I'm incredibly impressed with his performance. It felt like there were times he's initiating, and then suddenly, if the fight drags out long enough, you see him after initiation going back to protect sprints and Severo. So Severo, it goes senseless. There's always someone going in there protecting, and of course he'll get the match and game MVP.
That's another thing. Because previously they won.
Falcons, they saw the lineup composition, and it was a fine. So as much as we can say that maybe Falcons should have adjusted their draft in some ways, they really have to put it more towards Coach Hayes and say, yo, Coach Hayes, great move to pick up that Lilia.
And Super Prince was almost deathless that whole game. I mean, at one point I think he was like 2-13. And you're not going to see many players in this league pick up the Lilia, other than like Super Prince. So.
I think most of the runners in the league so far have only picked either the Eve, Zetian, Farsa, or Kimi.
Yeah,
But it's about that. Those are 4 picks, and it's only Super Friends who's really experienced.
And it was Lilia was she even one of the ones that received like a little bit of a buff through that last through patch or all the mid or
I guess it's maybe items, like more on
the item effects.
They can't. Because a lot of the mid-laners were either
slightly
or
these attributes.
yeah, not really anything too crazy. So the previous third battle for Falcons gradually mean that they're signaling towards Onic to think about picking up the Harris early because if not, they're going to pick it up for the first three.
Yeah.
So get the Valentina here, Fulvius is out. I think Harris might be coming in later for Falcons early on, and then that'll be forcing Onic to move on picking up their gold laner in red 3. Or they have to be careful of Falcons just taking out a lot of options for Savannah. Because so far this season, if I'm not mistaken, we've literally only seen him play the Claude and the Oh no, excuse me, the Moskov also is there.
Oh, and Dangerous Grass is also still
Still open. So Dangerous Grass Rumors, usually Hilda, Glock, Kali, and there's some teams who like picking up high loss because that allows you to get into some really crazy positions for now.
Good option too. We'll see if they go with the wrong. Real or Claude though. So getting the Claude for Severo this time. And yeah, kids have the
that's the opposite of them putting 2 flex heroes at the same time. Now you know exactly where these 2 are going.
That's also a good read by Onic. They know that Falcons are most likely going to be setting up for a Harith, so they pick up that Claude. It's the usual matchups favored by gold laners, that if there's a Harith on the other side, expectedly you pick up the Claude to try and deal with it in lane. But of course you need to build around it to make sure that once it gets to the late game, it's 5v5s, that you still have answers for the Harith, because the Claude is going to get destroyed by it every time.
Okay, there you go. Sora and Harris. This time around, we'll see Flap with the Sora. Should be able to go ahead and, I would expect him to be able to go ahead and do the same things we saw Kirk do, but I then, part of this leads to, can they get a better early start? I think these 3 picks already put them in that position where they can. I mean, it wasn't really about the picks in the last game, it was about the way they were playing, so hopefully they just kind of calculate that better and don't get started on the wrong foot here.
Honestly, the really would still be okay for Onic. I don't think they're willing to pick up red 3. They want to be able to rotate into the XP or go quickly to apply pressure with the layer more, then they'll pick up the Farsa. So, for it, finally. And this is a good scenario for it. There's a Harith on the other side, you need bodies, someone to go with a layer more when he dives in. It's a great game.
I love the mid duel for last.
Yeah. I think they saw the importance of it because of just how well Brusco and Super Friends outplayed Haji and Obi. It was like, yeah, let's just play towards yourself. But we also cannot turn off the possibility that it's a glue gnome. A very rare thing that shows up from time to time.
The last time I saw that in Podgo's man, it was like,
This Pago.
I don't think anyone else tried the real master.
Yeah. All right, jungle bands are going to be the focus here against Kyle. Shield being taken out. We're not going to be an option. Utility is still up for grabs, though. If they wanted to between the Fredge and Paca again. But I don't know. I'm not sure if he's going to want to go that route with this. Yeah, with the glue.
Yeah, I just imagine the blue area together.
Yeah.
If ever they still go for that.
Yeah, that's kind of too cheap for the hair. Just like, okay, where do I dash, bro? How do I go? But at least I have a lot of burst with them. I think they just need now or I think they just have to settle for picking up a high loss for themselves, Falcons. They need something with the glorious pathway. They need to revive them eyes. And as they all coupled together, they got set up by the cloud and the glue. I think my brain just instantly defaults towards saving lineups and glues because it's seeing how well they play.
Like most glues, right? Like how it just work, too.
In general, it's so tricky for Falcons to just stick with a lineup that's required to group up together because you just don't know what kind of mid lane and roam pick pass or their mid duos actually trying to go for it. But
who can even show up with a Kufa here and it will make perfect sense.
because there's already blues,
You have to get the vision of the Kufa's going to be coming out of nowhere. He's a pick that's been gone since for a while. He was barely picked.
Even an M7.
Yeah, the M7 barely picked, and then also in the Asian Games qualifiers was practically gone.
I don't think he was there at all.
Yeah, well, at least in the broadcasted games, there were some games that we didn't get to see.
Yeah, I'm really wondering what this leaves for Kyle unless they just kind of want to put him on utility.
The good years, Fred and Baksha are still there, but they're already there.
It's going to be okay, but it's been a while. And I think I might be just a little bit too passive. Onic might have drafted shots somewhere.
Dog fan out here, XP lanes.
Maybe so they're considering the fact that this is a hero.
It's actually Rungo.
Yeah. So they're forcing it. They're softly forcing it to go EX.
Right, that's the
Oh my goodness!
Didn't you ask for this? Like, wasn't this what we were saying on day one that you're like,
yes, please.
They're like the same, but they're very similar. It's very similar to the Lilia in a sense.
Yeah,
Like it's just personally.
it's annoying. Hey, Marcel's still open. He has not made it through the draft. I mean, he has made it through the draft, and he's going to get
the Hayabusa and the Charles. This is a tough lineup that Team Falcons is bringing to a game too.
The Falcons is banking on them just winning early. Like, they need to. If the last time we saw Hayabusa on the hands of Cartesian, he went like what 1-7 or like 0-6, 0-7 at that point, 0-8 against Aurora. If that happens, of course, clearly they're going to lose. But they need to get early kills, and it's so reliant on them getting the early kills here for the Hayabusa, or at least forcing out the battle spots of the initial level 2 or levels 2 to 4 rotation, as I've also said during day 1. Also, it's funny because this Green Go Rome, are they crazy enough to go for the Rome? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Earlier I said Kufa still makes a lot of sense, honestly. I don't know when my accent is changing. Kufa makes a lot of sense, honestly.
It's not.
That's another one. It's a Rome Green.
Home ground. But yeah, the only time I can really recall Rome Blue was like popular.
Okay, it's still the same. It's an annoying glue together with an annoying glue.
That is going to be so, like, the amount of flow and like stun and you're trying to run away, brought back. It's almost an automatic battle spell used.
If it's
there's no other skin. There's no other glue skin.
It is a basic
Nope, they're going to be cooking Krabby Patties. That's what they brought East to cook.
Okay. All flickers, huh?
Oh man, obviously I'm siding with Onic in this draft. It could go very wrong for Falcons, but hey, again, for them, it's if they somehow get the early kills and Onic messed up the initial phase at the center of the map, and you can see them coasting through around 11, 12 minutes in. But history shows these kinds of lineups tend to favor Onic. We'll find out. Let's jump into the land of Dawn here.
And Onic with a sweep. See, I told you that's the only skin in the game now for Blue. You're not going to see anything else. Yeah. And but yeah, this is pretty deadly in mid lane. Now you could say the same for Haji with Battlefield, as we talked about. The damage profile is pretty good, but you can already see Open get poked down, and you gotta kind of deal with these fireballs from Super Prince. And so they'll set things up here for that first loop one rotate. Right, even the serial time is going to mess with Falcon's team right there.
Ouch. That was a flicker from that one. Yeah, you gotta time your entry well.
Yeah, great timing by Super Prince to get those stunts off. It's really tough. Blue and Valir are. They have this word, I'll say the name is sticky.
Oh, concussive blast!
Okay.
Oakland still takes first blood.
That's what I say. Level 2. Yeah, that's true. 1 HP, literally.
Yeah, King Kong's not going to be able to swing over for that, but let's start. This is the same team Falcons needed comparative to game 1. Get a better start. Well, they got the first blood, and it went over to Owen. So he was the first blood in the last game. Now, on a throw, obviously, part of the difficulty with this is being able to find the right marks with those kicks later on, especially when he gets at level 4. But even G Converse still really is useful here. 4 in the set. He's using a lot of damage again.
Rusko already low. Now this is trial, but the Hogan Shadow Shield might be out. Flap playing it as well. It's traded out there. I don't know if Falcons actually want that. Flap goes down to its uncovered for King Kong.
It's going. Okay. Why did that feel bad, man?
Yeah, they could have instantly. Yeah, went to the turtle.
I mean, maybe King Kong was even like, yeah, bro, you can go. You can come back now. You can just stick with the turtles out. That's what I was saying. Like, he probably shared some words after that, like this.
Okay, now it's Falcons. You get the objective.
All right, objective secure. That was a misstep, as I would say from Onic. Definitely an unnecessary death there from Falcon, and objective secured for Team Falcons. So even though how that all went, Team Falcons is still maintaining a bit of a lead here against Onic.
I mean, you can make an argument that was providing space. Because the moment Cook went down, King Kong was like, yeah, I'm not going to take this anymore, man. I'm out of here. I went back to my first thought and said, he was going to secure it again. I'm like, yeah, I'll say, come on. Yeah. Ass. Monster Flame for the Monster Mage. So reverse debuts Veneer once again after losing in last MPL season 15 playoffs versus Twisted a month. Yeah, I do remember seeing once. Yeah. And I don't think we saw the low at all in season 16, according to that stat, and that is true. So I'm glad to see another mage in this game, man. I've been saying this for a while now. Like, hey, there's other mages in the game. That'd be great if we could see those as well. Yeah, if he missed the panel from day one, he was one of the mages that teased everyone to potentially show up, and now finally this year, without sure playing the lineups that have the slower tanky fighter junglers, but no, this is a very mobile lineup that Falcons has, and Onyx still thought that, hey, Valir still has a lot of value. Torres, the knockback of the Valir, brings a lot of abilities for the team that has it.
And we still, regardless of like a small lead that Falcons already have, a 2-0 start for King Kong. It's only mostly Brusco who's been on the receiving end of Falcons and their kickoffs. So see if the plan for this next objective is to fight that once again, but I think especially the fight on Busco.
Yeah. I'm wondering, is there what ultimate Haji's going to take?
Yeah.
Is he going to get grab, or
That's what I was trying to think too. Maybe we even see could just be more of a situational situation because of this game and the ultimates available for him. So he's not grabbing anything just yet. Let's go.
That's a good read from Busco. Gets received that OG shadow kill all by himself though. Now it's taken down. The stuns are coming in for Super Prince. The Flap's doing a great job at zoning them out. So they're going to use the blink with the sun as well coming in from third. But the damage is not going to be enough. Fights happening at the same time. Super Marco taking the win. Now once and he successfully takes down Savero.
And there's a fight you needed from Team Falcons. They'll go ahead and capitalize off that one.
so they've been able to make it to this point because again they took their positions. However, it was condition trade. They got the first blood, they got kills. At one point, King Kong got that double, but then after his skirt failed, Onic couldn't get the turtle. But then Falcons have gotten both turtles in this game right now. So yes, this was looking to be a very difficult game for Falcons. But since they were able to, with great skill, pick their conditions properly in the early game, it has now led to this point them in the lead. Also now crazy. Super Mario literally said, hey, it's 3 versus 1 in the back line. I got this.
I got this. And not only that too, but it was a great way for Team Falcons to finish. I feel like Brusco, he was quite far from the team and he was quite low when he initiated. And I think it just wasn't the timing that they were hoping for Onic. So I would say in the last couple of minutes they need to make some adjustments based on how this is going.
I am actually worried that Busco is not tanky enough. But we've seen multiple instances of him just feeling the damage, and that's probably on the cursed helmet.
Yeah, let's talk about it first, which was interesting to me. I know there's a lot of things to be annoying, get a lot of damage, but I got him the point where he just committed to it, even though he wasn't able to get the lead with his team.
Yeah.
He is going now next for, I believe that's going to be dominance eyes later on.
Aside from helping push a bit, doing a little bit of damage, doesn't also it's some of that hybrid defense down the coast helm.
Also, Haji has been annoying for Onic for that.
Yeah, he has
Speed. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be such a situational thing here.
So that's 3 for 3 of the Turtles for Team Falcons, 3K ahead. You can see across the board, they just got a lead everywhere for the most part. And it's maybe one of those situations for Onic to just kind of play for some arrow and let him pop off later on once he gets the Holy Trinity, but it's going to be a while until he gets those 3 items locked in.
I think King Kong is still definitely still, so they can also still play for the Leomorph. Clearly now for Onic, it's going to be the late game. Falcon now with the Federal Captain. Federal won't be able to clear the tower down bottom. He has boosted what or not. Haji, as I mentioned earlier, I feel like he's been also really annoying for Onic because he's been poking Busco a lot. So a lot of the damage that Busco has been taking down slow has actually been coming from the Valentine of Haji.
Okay. Bit of a low moment here, at least until this next objective is going to be the focus for Onic tries to catch up.
when he's using that.
It's not every day you see the fantasy held on by a Valentino. What else is he going to take?
Or is he using it for mobility to just not have to maneuver in the files? Is he jealous that he doesn't have this moment to burst?
But so much pressure on the sides though, if you look at it. Super Marco and Vlad doing such a great job. Onic at this point are literally forced to group together. But even then, their frontliners get easily ripped on. Drop that bottle all the time. Oh, how many choreographies like that have we seen today? Kyle getting the last shaker as well. The flicker coming in from third. But will the damage be enough? Try to catch him. They're going for the chase. The stuns finally landed. Kyle will go down.
Let's see if he uses the Phantom Seed here. Haji's got it.
Just trying to fight up against two members. Still decides not to use the Phantom Seed. But there's nowhere to run to up against 4.
Hey, Haji, you have an ultimate.
Don't want to use it.
Doesn't want to use it. A trade happens, but man, Onic did a lot just to get that kill.
I don't think Severo was able to sidestep that. If Falcon's got that, this would be clear easy. It's also funny to see the classic death animation just there. For Kyle, at least he'll be able to make it back in time for the Lord, but for Onic, King Kong is here as well, but Severo's on the other side of the map. Who's scoring for the advantage for Falcons?
They're random steal. So they're all using this just to zone out the members of Onic, and it's very much a success.
I guess that was just a call from Onic to go ahead and give this Lord up, get a bit of a push up top. At least you get something, and that might just be a safer decision instead of just trying to fight that out. They need more time to build up. You can see an Ice Queen 1 now built for Super Prince to help with slowing down the members once he lands these fireballs here. So, interesting approach from Onic. The Team Falcons has been in control of this game.
Map push, top lane for the load, running down the road. This Falcons just needs to really watch their first thing. Tony Chris already from Marco. Yeah, this is going to be tough now for Severo to be able to operate within the it's been already tough for him, it's going to get even tougher. Honestly, to really maximize the layering of their cross control abilities.
We'll see. Imagine that. He literally wasn't the BMI just to survive.
That's just hard you also. I'm sorry, you were talking about the model again.
I want the last up.
Yep. This. They should get a whole lot of these turrets. Unless they get forced into a fight they don't want to be in. Unfortunately, Oakland doesn't have the flicker. Otherwise, you can force something here. But he jumps in.
Oakland's getting punished here. Don't even get to move away the flag and just get on it now. We're focusing on the Lord as we slowly take it down. Flap looking like the next target. This time lands with Super Marco. Pleasing to it coming in from Severo as well. One by one on it. Are looking for the right target. Super Marco has been found. Run!
What are they trying to achieve? They were still, the passive of the tower. Honestly, I really wanted to say that. I was going to say, let's play a game of this team, force this dive, and use this. That's why I'm saying. It happens so much in the specific top lane here. The teams think, hey, let's force this, man. The top lane forces Ghost. Because we're going to look at the replay, and I was saying he doesn't have his figure, so I don't think he's going to force a fight. That's not only defensively enough, but he goes in, forces it anyway, and yeah, there's some fight there from Team Falcons. They're up 4,000+ gold, but not the fight they needed to take. Let's see how Falcons will get a little bit more control again. I mean, they still have control of the map. Towers leading towards the minion waves just ended up getting equalized. But this allowed Onic to get just a little bit more gold to chase Falcons. I don't think it was as much of any losses I thought it was because they're still here. It's just like, what are we? You could have gotten more. I
I also touched this over too, by the way. Sometimes maybe there was able to answer back just by a bit.
A good presence of Ogre to show off because that really made sure that King Kong wouldn't try to get close. And it's actually so no problem for this layer mode. Just a little bit of an advantage build. So on the other side of the map, Onic might not be able to take this. It'll be another free load for Falcons.
I guess it's just, it's back-to-back plays like that. Severo on the bottom side, just grab a turret, at least, I guess, and defend. Maybe they're more comfortable defending the base with this kind of composition that they have, because part of the rule could be part of that equation, being able to push back if they need to, at least forcing a potential misstep from Team Falcons on the defense here. So, Immortality now picked up by Ogwin, so you know he's going to be trying to make a play. And now with the flicker available, that's what we can expect. The mid lane is going to focus down by the slow push. Team Falcons will play around it.
Okay.
Drawing in into the base, swoop on in, charging the mid. See if we can find the target here. Over takes a bit of a shot from the turret, but the mid turret just about to go down.
Oh, it's Metro goes in first! Let's see what's out into the Falcon Earthwood. He can force out to flap her down. Now it's Onic on the chase. Time executed by King Kong. But they not be presented just yet. Time is right. Earth is coming in. Okay, they're not going to force it.
Yeah, and no base player there lost by Onic. What a difference. Great call by Brusco to just start things out. Taking Falcons by surprise. Now they had to use flickers for flat and over just to get out of that. They still steal the purple buff away, so slowing them. They don't. Still secured there by King Kong. Onic are holding on. And that's just great defense. Falcons keep getting surprised.
Two horses.
Yeah. I wonder how many times. Oh, he's going.
The damage is real super. Brains is back. Brusco next up in duo. He's down for Onic.
Onic felt pretty confident that they have made some moves. Well, Team Falcons collapse back and says, check yourselves as they cut Onic off in the mid lane.
They just dropped a Zaman Force, and at the same time, Kyle is ready to jump in. Shadow Kill, link up between Marco and Kyle.
Okay, could this be it? All three waves synced up. Flap. Crossways is above. Just yet. The my holding positions are back in case things get bad. The damage is too much for Falcons.
Yeah, they get rid of Kirk, but ultimately Onyx had enough time to let everybody come up. Kirk will be up in 30. Team Falcons still holding on, and they have 30 seconds away from this Lord, so they've got to just take what they can, and Onyx will just stay in the base here. Falcons still going to use his opening and try to make a play.
He gets started out by Brusco. That's the final seed already used by King Kong as well. They're doing their best to defend their last two base turrets.
I didn't expect RG to use the Phantom Seed there.
I think he really just wants to show him, like, hey, I've got it too. He's been taking
Focus what else?
the Phantom Seed. That's right, I just went through Seed. The last
Maybe the Vengeance Flame for does the Purify apply to you as well?
Sure.
But that's Super Juice is not within range.
I would be surprised if Onyx does the same thing this time. And they keep Severo on the opposite end of the map and they just let Team Falcons take a Lord. But even the items, he's where he needs to be. I mean, he's the winner crown clause you were asking for, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, finally, there we go. He's got it. But they're starting to pull Lord. Half health on this one. Team Falcons has control. But Onic might look to actually continue. This if they can get there in time.
Climax had a quick lap. The Onyx will want to go in. Surprisingly, the damage is starting to play there. For Onyx, lap is supposed to get the play open to use the position to survive. They don't know super markers right behind them though. And there goes the Zaman Force. And the place into it. Shadow kill, but Onic are slowly climbing. But not until Severo, who's actually blasted like that.
Falcons in Kentucky have North against the three members of Onic. Able to decide the moving wins so far. It might be time for Falcons to end it. They might not be able to end it here, but let's see if they can make some magic.
Okay, Supermarket will work on the waves on top first. That gives Onic enough room to work on the Lord.
Barrow's up in 15 and Bruce going 5. They're going to clear these waves out. And with that, Onyx still has a chance to defend, but Team Falcons massively ahead. We'll go ahead and approach the base. At best, all the base turrets down. They're still the one standing up top, but right now Onyx clears that out. Man, what a decision by Super Marco in their last fight to just be patient and find that opening. And then Kyle came up on time to be able to capitalize a bit on that. They're looking to set something up again. Also, Barry, you gotta be careful. He's got the BMI.
Is there another one to go?
Yep.
How's that already?
resources he's been buying and selling around. At one point, it looked like he was an immortality at one point, and then became a winter crown again.
You should go to the back play here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Look at Super Marco's positioning.
yeah, it was waiting in the grass. Kyle was also waiting. So you see the main three damage dealers both just waiting in the wings, going for the pincer maneuver. Once he saw Marco, once he took out the glue, then when Kyle went in to help make sure that Marco would be able to get away safely. So there's good link up there. But don't let this 8.7k gold lead fool you. At this point, this lead means nothing. It's just that Falcons have slightly more resources to maybe buy potions, buy and sell items, which is still a lot of value. But Onic does have the items that they need to make impactful decisions, which is why Flop, Ogren, after objective takes, the entirety of Falcons needs to be careful for Onic just deciding to go for the fight because they have the tools that they need to wipe Falcons out after Falcons gets objectives.
Yeah, especially when they don't get to like target down on either Severo or Superfizz first.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times earlier it was either of these two who were picked off, which made things easier for Falcons in terms of the team fight. But so far, Onic have started to group up. You mentioned this earlier too, nicely, that they no longer just kept on sending Severo on the opposite side of the map to take care of things. And possibly that could be what changes the dynamic of this game.
Oh no, are they actually going to force this one?
Not the trick was used.
Man, it sounded like it was used.
I don't know, that's the effect of the Vengeance Flame.
Yeah. Oh, because of the skin.
KOF skin.
Yeah, the KF skin. That's right.
Fireball or something? Oh, yeah, that's a Vengeance Flame. Yeah.
Sounds just like the way the dragon, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Definitely doesn't have his ultimate.
Load is up. Super Prince should have it back up here in a bit. There it is. Quick ultimate. She's got available. They're going to go ahead and get in position. I'm just wondering how Onic wants to approach this time. You saw earlier too from the damage meters just how much damage Haji's doing. And on this Valentina, once again, it's also not just the damage, but the terrifying that's in the kit of this Valentina. Oh, they're going to go for some. Oh, I'll be checked.
Oh, that is bad news for Falcons. Kyle took way too much damage.
Okay, Vengeance Flame already used, and now a successful setup on flap once more. But King Kong makes it inside, uses the Phantom Steed. Super Marco taking up two members, but Rusco just actually uses ultimate on him. But it's not going to be enough. But Super Prince and Severo got taken out. Can King Kong handle this all by himself? He's only left together with Dirk and Rusco. But Open and Super Marco are not letting him run away.
Oh, nothing these two can do. They just try to drag out more time.
No, Dirk is left alone against three. And that last OD shadow kill was all he needed. King Kong all alone against four members of Falcons. Has the vaccine, but there's the way of the dragon. The burst is going to be enough. He tries his best to clear the way, but Falcons even out the series.
We started out the week with 6 games. We will end the week with 6 games. After a disastrous start in game number 1, Falcons get the start that they run in game number 2 to force Onic into game number 3.
There we go.
There you go.
3 games. Bring it up. Bring it up.
I told you.
All of the 3-game series have been casted by you and Ruth.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. Yesterday I was here. It was all 2-0.
Yeah, so we're overpowering the Bring It Up West.
It has to be over.
It's probably the 3 of us. Because it takes 3 of us to beat the Bring It.
Yeah, it's the Bear Brook Blurs.
It's the blurs. It's the blurs, bro. The Bear Bro Blurs. Oh, man. This was great to see from Team Falcons, though. They needed this to get this win here in game 2. And, it's one of those things where I feel like Onic clearly throughout this game made some mistakes. It seemed like it. Super Marco at the MVP. This is the most I've seen Super Marco do. He's dancing and smiling. Smile. Oh, this is a different Marco. Remember when he used to just stand there and smile?
past the team in India.
Okay, now this Valentina ban means they can prioritize the Galea.
Yeah. Okay. Still a lot that we're expecting to be banned out. That's including Freya's, Zelda's.
Okay, I think so. That's going to be a Limo Rush, or are we going to see a unique first pick from them as well? Sora's also going to be open actually. We might be fighting for the Sora instead.
Because of the Valentina ban.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Majority of first picks have either been Eve, Valen, Lamort. There was that rare first pick Claude.
yeah, that's the rare who's because protected to my after what's been happening against the Harrigan lane. Probably would be as well. You could hear the fans chanting one more. That's how we side of Falcons, by the way, in case you guys were curious. I thought they were chanting 10 Falcons. I think they were saying Isata.
Oh, it's Team Falcons. How did we both hear very different things?
You heard the headset.
You heard it in Filipino. I heard it in English.
Okay, it's because of your headset.
Isa means one more. That's completely different from what I said.
I don't know. I'll ask the community manager what it is. Just to confirm that.
Honestly, Eva's open, just go for the sword. It was impactful for Kurt. It was impactful for Flat. That makes a lot of sense. I want to take that away from him.
Okay, last time. So Hilda's still available. If you don't take it out, I don't think we've been really putting in so much attention to that.
Yeah, that's true.
Or maybe they just really wanted to try out that blue balloon combination or something.
If both Lumor and Sora open, then that becomes a trade. If either one of them gets banned out here and then one gets the other, I think Focus might have to settle for picking up the Harith again if they want to go fast.
What if they just go Harith? What's your command?
I mean, so they both open the Lumor and the Sora.
For a Lumor.
I honestly think just go for the Sora.
I don't really not want to go for it first, or maybe just because, yeah, there's still a little more possibility, but
Yeah.
there's no taking This is the first time they actually first pick the super fifth hero. Seems
Rockets in the full dive. They can pick the Claude later. Go the Lamort, and then pick up Lamort at the same time. Get your formation breakers. Someone who could just easily just jump on the members of Harith.
so is it going to be another Claude Harith matchup, but the Harith has an Eve by his side?
That's true. Maybe Falcons would want to pick up the Harith for themselves.
Man, whatever happened to the finals in the Golden Lane other than Freya?
I am okay with them being complete.
Are you tired of seeing that?
I'm very tired of it.
I remember when we were happy, like the change up in the Golden Lane.
Yeah, it was an interesting change, but then I got tired of it.
I could hear it in his voice.
I was saying, you're like, something's not right now.
It's good to see our carries again.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Still, it's funny though because even in the Gold Lane, like there's so many options there, you know, and it's just like we still see a whole lot of Moskov, Claude, not too much variation. ISS, I guess, is probably the biggest switch up in that, but yeah. So Team Falcons will already get that store in the cloud locked in.
Probably the carry is what I'm thinking of. For the Harris, for the Khalid, or why is this again, you know?
Yeah.
Ooh, true.
Okay.
Cho Khalid matchup, typical.
Okay.
It's just gonna be okay.
Who's the freaking Claude?
Are we trying to we're going to pick up Harris right now?
What's he do?
Isn't that fine though? It's like it's technically. I think Marco is fine with the matchup.
Yeah, he's fine with the matchup.
He's starting game 2.
RWM, you have the Cho to force out the Purify. But then there is a Sora. Yeah, you go for the move.
Not what I expected, especially after what happened in game number 2. It's not also a flex. You see exactly where how these heroes are going to go. At least for Onic, you know that this is a gold quad. So Falcons, would Onic consider like another full-on dive comp? Let's say they take out the other remaining options for King Kong. There's still a Harley available.
Yeah. Hardy would be pretty chronic.
Yeah.
Yeah, another full dive. Is he doing like full aggro and they close out with like something like a Hardy Yu Zhang? That's gonna be rough.
Because I'm thinking, why did they force out the health? In this kind of situation where it's always been the crowd on the losing side.
What do you think they're gonna be picking up Harley?
Yeah, it was banned out in it was a game one. Game one banned out. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, okay.
Couple options for Team Falcons.
But we also don't see the midnight for Haji just yet.
Haji still has Valentino, still has the Zekin Farsa. But again, the dive, you have to think about the dive.
You know what's okay? Here's
Kimmy?
my RG brain speaking.
Yes.
I know it's not gonna happen. Dora. That's my RG brain talking. I'm not gonna bring it up.
Do you want to add to the list of quote-unquote dark system picks that have shown up in
Is he doing a dark system?
Is it not?
Really, it's not dark system.
It's not. Because you see it in...
Fire system.
Sure, Honk.
There's a light system, dark system. Why can't there be other stuff, man?
All right, you know what? That's right. We can have different types of systems.
There's no new reduction anymore.
Maybe I have Bruce. Maybe I have Bruce again. I'm going to see you. See you for Kyle. All right.
See what? Oh my god. Unless you're brave enough to still pick up the Farsa.
I wonder if there's also a chance Onic might swerve this into their old school XP Cho for Kurt Rapper.
I don't know.
Because of both the blast scroll. So you can also have him be the one getting the vision, and you can whip out a surprise Gatot thief in the mid. Then the XP named Cho. So you have a lot of things to force out the purify and reactions from the Harriet. The thing is, you have to worry then about the entry of the Sora. Equations here. Is that Kimmy here?
Okay. So the box are banned now. You might as well just take the Fred. Or just give you the Farsa too, no? Tovelu would be okay. Tovelu? There's Eve.
Oh, sorry. Wow, I sounded way too hard on them picking up earlier. My bad.
Another old school thing is that's not gonna happen.
Actual XP got that roll.
I can't believe they're not picking up Rosetta at all too.
Yeah.
Probably can't. I guess that's it's not going to be a hard or anything.
Yeah, it goes to Onic.
What's the other guy?
Okay. NPC EXP is what I would like to call it. Why'd you call him that again on day one? Because he's really just there to be a body, man. What's called an NPC. I'm not dogging on the thing. I like the role now.
Yeah.
But he's like, where's Midnight still when you're talking about him? Midnight is a placeholder.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just,
But I do my job. I do it right. It's good.
He's a body of Smith.
He's a body of Smith. That's true.
Body of Smith.
well, if he does land that penalty zone, especially on Super Mario, that would be good.
That's like all he does, though. it's his penalty zone, but you know he doesn't like even his revenge strike and the big swing and everything else. Like it was the Kimmy. So Kimmy Fred, classic.
Good old combo. Okay. So I don't want to automatically lean towards a lineup that are playing with the Fred and the Harris together. There's a lot of sound ideas on the side of Onic.
Yeah.
Of course, with the Chocali together, that they're matching each other's rotational speed. You have Ritoki in the center of the map. Open needs to time out his quicksand guard or it will get cancelled by Chicken Joe. Then you're also going to be playing around the Eve and Rizla, so you have the two Rizla being your main body holding up front. But again, because of the access that the Sora has, how easy it is for it to just set up and access the back line, I'm just really going to be watching out for Super Fins and whether or not he positions well and if he has really good help, because Falcons really have to keep their eyes on him and take him out immediately. Without the Eve, it's going to be tough for Onic to make it work.
Well, let us know what you guys think. It's the last game of our opening weekend here in this game 3 between Onic and Team Falcons. Who's got this one? Let us know in the comments below. We jump in to game 3 here. Let's take a look at our setup here in the mid lane. If they can actually potentially get an early kill like we saw before. Owen. Oh, how is that going to misstep at this time?
Unfortunately, the thing that Haji did not get that immobilized at one Brusco. It could have brought him down a little bit more. Made this next straight more deadly. Good rotation by Kirk.
Yeah.
Look at the placeholder.
The NPC is here. Right. He's got a revenge strike.
I'm not calling Kirk an NPC, I'm calling the original NPC.
Okay. I'm sure you guys have played Tuzla or at least seen him. You know about how much he can do. Now, granted, I will say this about Tuzla, man. Because of his pass to the body of Smith, he's actually quite tanky, you know? So once he uses the penalty zone, he can actually soak up a ton of damage and even OTAX and he's still alive. So we'll have to see how good he utilizes this.
Okay, now to mobilize lands. Virginia is open. Could have been in a very tight spot there.
Yeah.
Alright. I think we're not going to flank this Tuzla. It's a waste of resources to do so.
Yeah.
So now it's just up to Flam to make sure he gets a clear way faster, join the turtle first, and then they just have to be careful with the penalties on entering the Tuzla. That's why we call him a placeholder / NPC.
Yeah, I think on the 2000 broadcast,
They mentioned it too.
they mentioned it as well. That's just how Tuzla is right now. But Turtle's up here. Some level 4 is missing. They're going to go grab that XP up top. Flop definitely needs that. The heal here to Onic in position. They might be the ones to start this up. Again, with the broken walls here in place. Up on this back side, the Turtle can go for a bit of a reset. So they just want to wait for all these level 4s to be available when they commit to it.
Okay, Brusco's about to get his level 4. Flat goes in first, but the counter finishing soon. Kyle with the retribution to secure the turtle for his team, and he will still get out of that new world manipulation.
Yeah, Open was able to use a quicksand guard just in time. So Pharaoh coming in from the gold lane through the river did not go down.
So Pharaoh just got caught by that energy eruption, and Super Marco 2 gets a kill on Kirk.
Give Marco the hair if it'll make moves like that. But Team Falcons ahead now. 2 on the board and a turtle.
I can't believe they chose a cloud over the Harris. They could have got him with even the Harris together. But you know what, I'm not going to knock it. It could still have the turnaround, but there's a comfort from Marco. It's the fit that they got. And Haji rushes the sky too. So the Falcons know that they have a good lead here, and that they can just blow through it. If they can continue this until Haji starts getting stacks, it's be over by minute 12, minute 13.
Yeah.
Is he actually getting his weapon strap? Oh, there he goes! Kirk! Did not expect that damage! Even the apprentice's wrath was committed right there!
I almost wonder why did Flap go for that initiation? Well, there's the answer right there. And again, when you work in conjunction, hold on there.
Just so many fights happening across the map.
Yeah, Marco and Severo are having to do almost a Savero.
We don't need a gold, we only have Shazos.
Okay, so, I lost my train of thought. Okay, do not it's actually a Thunder Buff for Open. It's been a while since I've seen a Thunder Buff priority. Because most people have admittedly agreed. If you're not Marcel, Thunder Buff is trash.
King Kong. That's a lot of damage, but now Kyle all alone up against 3. If he still survives this, okay, he won't. King Kong finally picks him off. Flap though, on to Super Prince. Once again, and Falcons, 2 members down.
Kyle goes down. The Team Falcons still capitalizing. Gold Wave battle right here. They're going to be fine. Oh, flap.
The time we've been trying to interrupt him in his jungle.
Yeah. They weren't able to steal or stop him from getting his own purpose off, but he would bring King Kong down low using Falcon to get another fair turtle. With a lot of the can still go out of control. Time is ticking for Onic with time run out there all the time.
All right. With that being said, Team Falcons find themselves still in the lead. Let's see how they're playing around at speed at this lineup that they have. And it's a lot of usage of a little bit of crouch that they have, but man, Flap with Sora so far has been able to go ahead and do what we saw back Kirk at Sora. And it's making me wonder if Kirk can do the adjustments in Super Mario going 1v1.
Another duo, but this time Super Mario wins it out. I mean, he didn't have the flicker, yeah, but
For a good amount of time, they just, I think for like 3 or 4 times we saw time for the goal, there needs to be Salmon first versus Blazing the Weapon. They just got to the point where Severo could not handle the damage of Harris anymore.
I think I can say even the penalty zone gets touched.
I can vision the flex that came after that in Flap's head. Because you can see how he's playing the Sora, pushing it to the limit, and just seeing what he can get away with. That's how he's deciding to play. Let's take a quick look at the items here. Team Falcons are a 4K ahead. They're not armored. I mean, so Dominus is going to be rushing for Kirk. Of course, he can follow you to the Hunter Strike. After last chance has problem being the priority for Bruce Coaching up. So, with the damage of the Harris and the attack speed with the ass, and at the same time reducing the attack speed. Oh, wait, yes.
Okay, Falcon, just use the flicker. As we go, look at how much damage he's dealing on this. Energy eruption doesn't connect. This is Falcons in full control.
Yeah, they can just keep this up, keep going. You can expect them to penalty zone here. Falcons still has not so many items under their belt. Kirk with a dominant size. Something about this working out for Oakland very well. Honestly, not contest this, and they will keep it up. A 3-1-4 Falcons. I mean, personal estimate, 12 to 13 minutes, this could be over. As Onic somehow find a miraculous third round. Severo up top. Here comes Strap.
Okay! Oh! Just too quick, but no one can run away from both Ozen and Slap. Look at that, he just used the Heaven's Wrath on the little Wanderer.
There's a whole lot of pressure now for Severo that he is feeling from this lineup of these Falcons, and Super Marco's loving it.
That was not the direction they wanted. Kyle! Finding the energy eruption on Kirk. Will not have enough damage to deal with him just yet. But this is going to be enough for them to finally take this turret.
Yeah, they just want to get this one down in mid, open up the map some more. That's 4 turrets now for Team Falcons. We're losing the lead up to 6,000 gold ahead. After taking 3 of the turtles, they set themselves up in a great position to eventually take the Lord once it's up in about a minute. So Onic is going to have to do something really amazing to put themselves in a position to actually contest against this. I'd be more surprised if they even decide to fight in the middle for that Lord or just let it go, because Severo is severely behind. 2,000 gold behind Super Marco. Lost a lane against Marco. It also did not help that the lead that his opposing gold laner has is built through the fact that Falcons got all turtles. King Kong, he's stuck.
Oh, Kyle.
Kyle knows. He's like, I know you're a surreal. So, you'll be fine, I'm sure.
Hey, holy shit, no! Oh, there goes the setup for Flap! 4,000 manipulation! Oh, what? Open still goes in! As cost of his life, that's every percent of his own. Kyle will have his dash any moment now. But they lost one member in the process.
There's some heat here. Yeah, there's some heat, and sorry, Falcons, you guys just lost a bunch of aura. So why? It wasn't necessary. And it almost reminded me of what we were saying earlier with Oakland on the show in game 2. Sorry, it's just like he closed his notebook. Because he doesn't. There's no analysis there other than why. Why? Kyle already brought out his thing with the chair. I think Oakland got so excited. He's like, oh yeah, there's no more of those. If Onic starts to turn around after that, forget about it, bro. Go away. Team Falcon still has the lead. They've got control right now. They are going to take this, so they're going to take this board and get ready to march towards the face. So even after that, you'll see some key items being picked up here too. Divine Blaze now for Hanji. That's a chance by Falcon. And so even with that play, Onic will have to go ahead and hope that they can still defend against this. A base turret or two, maybe not. Even with this, they should still be able to maintain base turrets.
Yeah, they seem to win the shields because that one attempt that Falcon shield, whatever it was unsuccessful in at least even just taking down holy shields. So that's still there. So on.
I'm sorry, I was visioning this. I was because the way like Frederick has his hand in his pocket and he does that, he's like, it's like, I'm Joe. I want to be he sits down and then he just sees the comedy come in and now Frederick's like, what the hell are we doing? Sees him fighting on a raging sandstorm. Falcon's too much to be said to have a lead. The Lord is very far away, so they are going to be able to force out holy shields here. A base turret might be too difficult and too optimistic to expect to get taken down here. But with all of the advantage and the damage, it's really going to be up on the members of Onic to be able to get a really great clap back here. Not sure what's going on here in the FPL arena.
But you gotta pay attention to this.
On the base.
Captain Force Value team all land onto Kirk, who goes in for the penalty zone and actually catches this. Remember, this is not gonna be enough. There's no ball outside of the real run manipulation. Kirk and Bruce going down. The abrasive wrap still left and the Lord is in the base. Kyle actually gets taken down though. There's a good defense by Severo, and still somehow they buy some time.
So not only yet, 12 minutes has passed, and Onic has miraculously held on with great defense. Kirk and Brusco has fallen. Kyle as well. There's so many blades marching in, and Falcons want to try.
It's another Zaman force by Marco, but they will just take this turret. Onic have defended against Falcons, but they will have to let go of 2 base turrets.
Okay, they lose these 2 base turrets. I thought they'd be able to maintain base turrets actually, but unfortunately not for Onic. So now, even further behind at this point, Team Falcons in a clear position to continue to make this happen in their favor here. Just have control of the game from start to finish up to this point, and they're taking control beside the map.
Severo just has a guarantee, but this point he needs a lot of core. I mean, the damage is there, but it's not. It's going to be a long grind for Onic to be able to turn things around. Haji already has 3 stacks on a scout piercer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Falcons got an early kill. Haji did not get that kill. He built the sky piercer knowing that they have advantage, and then he got 3 kills after that.
It will be around 30 plus. So for the taking free for them to go ahead and take. I don't think you're going to be able to do anything if you're Onic. Then,
What are you doing in here?
I mean, at this point, they know they just have to defend. There's not much they can do. King Kong will try to push in off lanes here, but ultimately, you just got to wait for that push with the Lord to come through and see what happens.
I'll say this now. If I'm Kirk, I'd be kind of frustrated. You know why?
Why?
Imagine game number 1 started off like that with a Sora.
Yeah.
And then in a crucial game number 3, where it was like, hey, coach, come on, let's pick up the Sora first pick. It ends up going to Falcons. And it ends up with the Charisma.
Yeah, I think this is a great show of exactly what we mean by Charisma being kind of an NPC. There's not too much you can do. You can try to use the penalty zone here on this base defense. Everyone has a mortality. You got to deal with this Lord. The last turret does go down, though.
Falcons.
Falcons in a position to push this one in if they can.
Severo has to get himself safe, but never mind. Now they catch through it's Busco and quickly try to work on first. Busco is nowhere to be found. Rudolph falls next, and Falcons are in the base. Now gets traded out, but it's Sanford somehow to save Joseph because Severo miraculous to defend it. It's a goal! Falcons wins the series 2-1.
Onic after moment and the start of the week to close it up with their debut. It's Falcons that get off the winning column. A great start for the Haji Red Falcons.
We asked the question earlier on in the panel, is Haji the missing piece to this puzzle with Team Falcons? Well, he's definitely a part of this new Falcons lineup. A great series against Onic Falcons here. Respect all around. It took a little bit for Team Falcons to come online. You can see here, giving a hug over to Severo. They knew that they locked down Severo, man. That was the plan for Team Falcons. I mean, they're all great friends. These guys all like basically work out together, by the way. Yeah.
Practically neighbors.
Yeah, practically neighbors. They go and they visit the same gym. Hell of a series though to end week one.
Yeah, it was both Kyle and Black who tried to really lock down Severo in that last moment. And even if they were unsuccessful in targeting him, per se, that was already enough to slowly get into the base, to slowly secure the win against Onic. And it was a really unpleasant experience for Severo. That early 0-3, 7 minutes into the game, and very difficult path to recovery as a Claude who unfortunately has to go up against a Harriet who's already scared and not into the late game. So these are things we were really worried about heading into the draft, and they just proved to us why. But still, a very commendable performance by Falcons in their debut.
Great to see that from Team Falcons. Let's go to Thor on stage for our winning interview.
And won their first match, a team of Falcons getting our first sweep.